Morning. Good morning, everyone. We're going on live now.
Our program is designed to make the savings on your electric bill pay for all or part of your low monthly payments. The PACE program is government sponsored and gives you up to 30 years to pay. Requires no credit check, no money down, no income verification.
That's right.
No payments for
Yes,
up to
yes.
18 months. You only need to
Oh,
be
that
current
glares.
on mortgage and taxes for the last 3 years to qualify. Energy savings and hurricane solutions made easy. Call 954-939-1500.
Does that help with the glare? It doesn't really help with the glare too much.
1500 to start saving money now.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law.
Best ever. Look, I changed my...
You may be entitled to benefits that you are not aware of, including...
See my watch face? It's Trump now on my Apple Watch. Isn't that nice?
Benefits are available.
Is that cool?
With offices in Boca Raton and Fort Lauderdale. Call toll free 1-855.
Yeah, Pelosi messed up.
3782 1-855 FLA 3782.
You are listening to South Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll free, dial 1-888-GO-KANE-1. That's 1-888.
All righty, welcome everyone. Oops, mic a little hot there. All right, good morning, good morning. My name is Brian Craig. This is Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. Welcome back, one and all, and hello to all of those of you I met at Wings Plus last night. And I know a lot of people came in after I left, I heard. I'm very sorry. I'd have to be here live today at 6 o'clock in the morning. Man, what a great, incredible State of the Union. You know, President Trump's, and I'm not saying this just because no one loves Trump more than me, except Melania. I'm not saying this just because of my love of President Trump. Even if I wasn't the big lover and supporter of President Trump that I am, I would still have the observation that I'm about to share with you. That was the most incredible, spectacular State of the Union in the history of the State of the Unions. He gave out medals, made people generals, reunited families, gave young girls scholarships so that they would have a great future with an incredible education. Man, I've never seen anything like it whatsoever. It was just amazing. And I just have a difficult time finding words to even describe what is going on with the Democrats. Nancy Pelosi made a huge mistake. First off, before this tearing up the speech she did at the end and then tossed it on the table. Take your little dog too! Nancy Pelosi has lost her mind. You know, I couldn't help but watch Nancy Pelosi while the president was talking, but she was talking to herself throughout the entire State of the Union speech. Did you notice that? She was talking to herself. Sometimes to Pence, sometimes to people in the gallery, but a lot of times she was mumbling to herself. Nancy Pelosi tearing up that speech was stupid. It was just stupid. She tore up the names of American heroes, legends, people who have given the ultimate sacrifice. She tore up a speech filled with words about great people. That Tuskegee Airmen, I've met some Tuskegee Airmen. I don't know how many are left. About 10 years ago, there was, in Boca Raton, there was a World War II bomber that had been restored, that was flown in, that you could take a tour of. And I went there with my daughter. And they had men who flew on these bombers, and there was a Tuskegee Airman there. And I wanted my daughter to be able to meet a Tuskegee Airman because there aren't that many left. And so my daughter got to meet the Tuskegee Airmen, and a guy came up who was a gunner on a bomber in World War II, flying over Germany, and he came and put his arm around that guy, and he said, I wouldn't be here if it was not for this man. Wouldn't be here if it wasn't for this man. That's amazing. All these years later. Nancy Pelosi tore up a speech all about that. She's out of her mind. I mean, that was one of the most severe public displays of Trump derangement syndrome I have seen by a public official. And you know what's frightening? This lady who was talking to herself throughout the speech, who is filled with rage and anger throughout, lashing out during the speech, and then tears up with anger the speech and throws it down. She's in the line of succession for the presidency. After the vice president, it's her. Could you imagine having her as president of the... She's unstable. She's not in control of herself emotionally, and she may be suffering from some age-related issues that talking to herself on television, I don't even think she was aware of it. Pretty scary stuff. It was very scary stuff, but man, the greatest State of the Union ever. And Rush Limbaugh, let me say a couple things about Rush, who I have a lot of respect for Rush. You know, I haven't been a big listener of Rush over the years, and a lot of that has to do with the time of day that he's on. I don't get to listen. I used to listen years ago. My schedule was much different, and I listened to Rush a lot. But in the last years, I haven't listened that much. But he was deserving of that medal. He was deserving of that medal. He wasn't the first conservative, nationally syndicated radio host. I think Joe Pine has that honor. He was certainly one of the first trailblazers. But Rush Limbaugh has had an impact on this country that could never be measured. Could never be measured. And it's a good one. It's a good impact. And a lot of people are talking about Rush today in some very negative ways because, they hate him because he's successful and conservative. And they said that he was acting surprised. And I, too, thought that at first. But then I realized that, right now, Rush Limbaugh is dealing with things in his life that we hope none of us ever have to deal with. I mean, the president said stage 4 cancer. That's not what Rush said on his announcement the other day. He said advanced, but he didn't say stage 4. So he is dealing with that mortality. And then he's brought in there and given the highest award that an American civilian can receive from the President of the United States. I think he was overwhelmed with emotion due to the health issue and that. And another thing, too, that they're not factoring in is Rush's hearing is not the same hearing that we all have. So when he hears things differently. But can you imagine I would have broken down in tears if I were him. The more facing what he's facing with the cancer, and then being honored by this great man, President Trump. I would have been crying like a baby. And I think a lot of it, I think his reaction that I hear so many people criticize. I've got a soundbite of someone criticizing it. I'll play in a little bit, but I think Rush Limbaugh's reaction that people are saying he was faking surprise because we knew it all afternoon yesterday. A couple things are going on. One, Rush doesn't hear like we do. I don't know what he hears, but it's not like we do. Not like we hear. He's got those huge implants, which are pretty sophisticated. Two, he has been given one of the most god-awful diagnoses you can be given, and he is facing serious health issues. He's dealing with mortality issues. He's overwhelmed with that. And then you get centered out at the State of the Union by the president and given the medal by the president, presented to you by this incredible First Lady, Melania. He was overwhelmed with emotions, and I think also he was trying to fight back tears. I don't think he wanted to cry in front of the world there. And that's why he reacted the way he did. How dare people give any type of criticism to Rush Limbaugh. The man is facing the fight for his life. He's 69 years old. He's got a lot of good years ahead of him if he could beat this. And dealing with that, I couldn't imagine. I couldn't. I've had people in my family deal with such things, and it's scary. It's unknown. It's the worst. I've had good outcomes and bad outcomes in my family with similar issues, and I know most people have. But when you're dealing with it yourself, oh boy. And not only is Rush dealing with it, which is something difficult, he's dealing with it with millions of people on the national stage, so it's very difficult. So he was overwhelmed with emotion, trying to fight back tears, and I just thought, those things that happened yesterday, the president giving the scholarship to the girl, giving Rush the medal, reuniting the sergeant with his children and his wife. These are things that are usually done beforehand, not on television. We've never seen this happen before. Usually those things have already been done, and then they get awarded on television. I mean, they get awarded before the televised event, and then we see it on television. They point them out. They're already wearing the medal. They've already gotten the scholarship. We've never seen this happen live during the State of the Union before. And, man, I was crying more than once last night. Were any of you tearing up? I went home and watched the State of the Union from home, and I was lying in bed with my wife watching it, and I teared up many times through that State of the Union. When he showed the Tuskegee Airmen, and I saw that he was a general in uniform, I thought, oh, wow, he was a general way back then. I didn't even know that the president just made him a general yesterday. And once you're a general, you're always active duty, I think, for life, aren't they? Pretty much. I mean, that's amazing. What an amazing story. What an amazing story. Can you imagine what it was like for a Tuskegee Airman? First off, in an era of the Democrat Jim Crow segregation era, with Democrats running around lynch. I mean, keep in mind, that Tuskegee Airman general last night somehow managed to get a college education in an America led by Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who refused to sign anti-lynching legislation, President FDR. I don't want people to think I'm talking about Teddy Roosevelt. FDR refused to sign federal anti-lynching legislation because he didn't want to lose. That was his base. The lynchers were his base. And still, that man managed to get a college education and become a fighter pilot in the Second World War. In an era when the military was segregated, the country was segregated. It's god-awful with that. And he did. What a great role model. What a great example for everyone about overcome. I mean, it was just, I'm getting emotional now just thinking about that State of the Union last night. Listen, I want to hear your thoughts. Did any of you tear up? Thoughts on Nancy Pelosi? Thoughts on our great president? Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. If you're on hold, stand by. I'll answer the phones during the break. 888-465-2631. I'm Brian Craig. This is Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. On the radio since 1977. And you may have noticed Nancy Pelosi not only was talking to herself, but also her dentures are too big for her. They're not fitting. She needs to call Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental, who can take care of loose dentures. A lot of you may have that problem. You don't have to. Dr. Gupta can help.
Ruining the taste of your food? Is it painful for you to eat? Does the constant denture movement affect your speech? Are you always worried that your dentures will fall out while you're talking or laughing? Do you have sore spots? You are not alone. These are common problems that can be solved simply with dental implants. This is Steve Kane, and I want to introduce you to Brighton Dental Care, where the Kane family goes for all our dental needs. Brighton Dental Care doesn't want cost to stop you from being able to eat the foods you love again and live in comfort. That's why, for Steve Kane listeners, they're offering implants, get this, for just $3,500. That includes 2 implants plus a lower denture. Now, if you go to a dentist...
Oh, yeah. I'm going to do that one a lot today, Dale.
Charge you $6,000 for the exact same implants and denture. That's right, $6,000, but at Brighton Dental Care...
All right, I got to block that person.
And that includes the 2 implants.
I mean, that's just terrible. Why would you say something so stupid, you evil person? What an evil person.
954-922-4633, 954-922-4633, and online at BrightonDentalCare.com. Be sure to ask about special discounts for our military veterans.
Thank you very much.
This is Adrienne Kane, Steve's daughter, and I want to tell you about my MyPillow mattress. I was talking to Dad, and I was telling him I wasn't sleeping at night. I was tossing and turning all night long. I had an old, worn-out, lumpy, bumpy mattress that was so uncomfortable. I wasn't getting any sleep. A couple of days later, there was a knock at the door, and it was a MyPillow mattress. I slept on it that night, and ever since I've been sleeping the whole night through. No more tossing, no more turning, and when my alarm goes off in the morning, I'm up and ready to go and well rested. Give your kids, grandkids, spouse, or yourself the gift of a good night's sleep with a MyPillow mattress. Go to mypillow.com and use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E. When you use the promo code KANE, you can save up to $300 off your MyPillow mattress. They come in all sizes, from twin to California king and every size in between. Go to mypillow.com and be sure to use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, and give the gift of a MyPillow mattress. Worth its weight in restful sleep.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWN.
All righty, we're back. All right, I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show. Oh, man, I am a little tired because I was up much later than I normally would be during the week. But, hey, I want to get to the phones. We'll talk about all the events last night, the greatest State of the Union ever. My name is Brian Craig. This is the most pro-Donald Trump radio show in America. This is the longest-running radio show in the state of Florida, the Steve Kane Show. And yesterday, we're on 4 radio stations, live and overnight. Yesterday, there was some tech issues. And I was tuning in this morning, and they have all been worked out, okay? The people that were calling about that. And thanks for your concerns and alerting me to that, because sometimes that's the only way I know. All right, let's go to the phones. You're on the radio. Good morning.
Hey, Brian, it's Mike and Boca. How are you?
All right, Mike and Boca.
I just want to thank Nancy Pelosi for her performance last night,
Yeah.
guaranteeing the re-election of our beautiful president, Donald J. Trump.
Yeah, did you notice Nancy Pelosi talking to herself?
I noticed in the beginning, she didn't say, when the guy walks in with the president and he says, Madam Speaker,
Yeah.
She didn't reply back. That's why he didn't shake her hand.
I think he didn't shake her hand because of what she's done with this coup impeachment, I think.
Too.
Yeah, why should he shake her hand? Why should he? She's a disgusting person. She's a disgusting person.
I was crying, well, not crying, but I was tearing up with the Tuskegee Airman and the guy, his brother lost his
Yeah.
illegal immigrant.
Oh, my goodness. And what about the parents of the poor girl who was kidnapped and raped probably without mercy by ISIS?
Heart-wrencher. That was a gut-wrencher. That's brutal.
Yeah, and her death was terrible. It's god-awful how she died.
It was terrible. And another thing about Nancy, I don't know if you noticed, if you look back in the last 15 minutes of the speech before it was done, all the ladies in white were standing up and it almost like they were doing a tomahawk. They were saying something, but I couldn't catch it.
Yeah, I did not catch it. If anybody I know what you're talking about. If anybody knows what they were doing, I know that was kind of like a thing that Florida State do during the football games. Da 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 da.
Football.
Yeah.
At the end, she ripped up that beautiful speech. Did you see her talk? She's screaming at someone.
Well, yeah, and when she not only did she tear the speech up, she tossed it down on the desk in anger. So, I mean, she is not Nancy Pelosi. This is not partisan. I don't believe my observations on Pelosi are partisan, but she is consumed with rage, which means she's out of control. And there's also some type of issue with her talking to herself in public like that. It's very strange.
I think you guys should offer her an appointment to the therapist.
I think she could use not only Dr. Janae Lamaski, who was at Wings Plus with us last night. She could use Dr. Janae Lamaski and Dr. Mitch Matez. You know, Dr. Matez, hormone replacement pellet therapy does help with cognition issues. And also, we want to send her over to Dr. Gupta's Brighton Dental to help with her loose dentures. But what do you think is going on? Why is she so consumed with anger, Nancy Pelosi? Why do you think?
Now, she's friendless. I mean, her own party, she just sucked up to them.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, you said sucked up. You said sucked up. Okay. I thought I had to dump you there. Yeah. Well, I think what it has to do with the rage is they don't. I've talked about this since President Trump became president. He's not part of the political club, and they don't respect him as president. See, the politician, he's a donor. Okay, that's how he made his. Remember, he donated to her. He donated to Schumer. Donated to Republicans too. No, but politicians hate donors, especially the top ones at the senior levels like her, because donors are a bunch of guys like Harvey Weinstein that got a lot of money and and Epstein, you know, and they have to go and suck up to them and go to their house and vacation with them and spend weekends with them, grovel to them for a couple of shekels. And they hate donors, and when one becomes president, it's that's a lot of it. But they do not accept him as our president, as the president. They don't accept him as that because he's not a part of the political class. And I believe, going all the way back to the great George Washington, who I love. Okay, don't misunderstand me, but I believe that President Trump is the first president that has been truly elected by the people of this country, not the political parties pushing people on us. And we've never had, to my knowledge, there has never been a president who was truly elected by the people before President Trump. And that drives the political class insane with rage.
Yes, it does.
I mean, if you go back, you know, Abraham Lincoln, who is a saint. I would never question Abraham Lincoln. He's a saint, right? But he was an attorney for the railroads and part of the political establishment. You know what I mean? And there was some monkey business at the Republican convention to secure him the nomination too. But I'm not taking away his saintly nature and qualities, but he was also picked by a political establishment. Only Donald Trump has been truly picked by the voters, the American people, and not put. Before, we're always given a chance. Yeah, sometimes you'll hear people say, well, I'm going to vote for the lesser of two evils because you don't like either candidate, but you got to vote for the Republican, or so that's what's got them nuts. All right, hey, listen, I appreciate the call.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. Good morning. You were on the radio.
Good morning, Brian. It's Todd, 75.
Todd on I-75. Hey, how you doing, Todd?
Great. I would describe it more like an impotent rage or display. And I think she might be a little confused. I think she confused his speech with the Constitution.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What did you notice? Do you think that the tearing up of the speech and throwing it down on the desk, do you think she planned that in advance, or is it because he wouldn't shake her hand?
I don't know. With her, you can never really know for sure if it was pre-planned or because with all the Botox that she takes, you can't tell any emotion on her face.
I think it was pre-planned because she did it in a way where the timing was perfect, and she did it in a way that it was on camera in a perfect way. I think it was almost like a block shot. I think it was pre-planned. I don't think it was because of the handshake.
And plus, he was still standing right there, right behind him. You know, she was doing it right behind his back.
Yeah.
And that just really displays everything. I was watching it with my 79-year-old father, who's a raging liberal.
Oh, goodness.
Experience. It kind of ruined it a little for me because at one point he couldn't stop the outbursts of anger.
Oh, it's like you were sitting next to Michael Moore watching that.
Yeah, I just looked at it because I would get happy and I would start clapping about certain things that you would get all set. And then so at one point I just said to him, let's make a deal. I won't make any noise and you won't make any noise. This way we can both observe it from our own perspective.
What did he get up? You know, because I some of the things that they wouldn't applaud are outrageous. Millions of people back to work, millions of American jobs created with the factories here. You know, John Roberts, who's the Fox News White House correspondent, tweeted during the debate. He said 57 years ago, everyone in Congress stood up and applauded when a Democrat president said we're going to send an American to the moon and return him safely to the earth again. President Trump says we're going to land a man on Mars and wants to be the first country to do that, and they wouldn't stand up for that. I mean, you know, basically what you have in the Democrat Party is you have people whose hearts and minds are advocating not for America and Americans, but for foreigners. And now,
I think that when you see all those black women wearing white, you know, sitting on their hands when the president is saying that there's 70% increase in female employment, it just speaks a lot. You know, you just see them sitting on their hands. You know, it really, I was like...
Did you tear up at all during the State of the Union? Did you tear up?
Yeah, there were several moments I was bawling like a baby. I mean, especially with that moment with that wife and son who lost their father to Soleimani.
Oh yeah.
For me.
Yeah, well, Soleimani. Yeah, that was. I mean, just when you said that, I got goosebumps right now, sitting here in my chair in the studio. That was amazing. That poor wife was. Did you see the wife who was tearing up, and her son, who looks like he's about 11 or 12, put his hand on his mom's shoulder and said, "It's okay, Mom. It'll be okay."
Yeah, so many moments that were so real. And I think that's what it is for the Democrats. They have all this fake emotion that when they see real emotion, they think it's fake. They don't understand real emotion. My dad got up and walked out of the room. He couldn't handle it anymore.
Too much goodness. Too much making America great again. Yeah. And you know, when that little black girl, President Trump gave her that scholarship so that she could have a chance at life, like Nancy Pelosi's kids with the platinum spoons in their mouth, you know, and the Democrats are sitting down on their hands for something like that. I couldn't believe, they because it involves vouchers, and they're into that teachers union anti-voucher thing, which I don't really think teachers are opposed to vouchers anymore. I think teachers like them. They want to get in those A schools. But everything the Democrats did last night was just stupid.
It just displayed how immature, how selfish, and how feckless they are. They're just helpless. They know that this thing's going to end with the impeachment today, and they're plotting the next move.
Well, yeah, and I'll tell you, now maybe I'm too close to it partisan-wise, and my love of Trump may has clapped, but I think last night they really firmed up Republicans taking back the House of Representatives. They acted like immature animals last night, the Democrats. All of them.
No doubt. And plus, I think after the debacle of Iowa the day before, I think that they really, I think this is like the new low for the Democratic Party. I don't think they've ever been lower than this. It's unbelievable.
Well, you know, listen, Republicans had some lows, you know, but we're not losers like that. You know, when the Democrats have never had someone stand up to them, ever. And you know, we've got one more term of this president, so we need to really enjoy it. God help us when the Democrats are back in the White House. There's gonna be a war on people like you and me, like we've never experienced in this country. Hey, thanks so much for the call. Great observations, appreciate it. And you know, your father, he could still come around. 79 years old, we can still bring him around.
The guy, he just completely lost. He lives in New York, and I think that when you live in an echo chamber, it's
that's no excuse. Donald Trump was born and raised in New York City. Donald Trump was born and raised in New York City. Yeah, all right, appreciate the call. Thanks so much. Hey, listen, I got to run for a break. 34 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian Craig. This is Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. We'll be right back.
Right now, the U.S. is in the midst of a deadly opioid epidemic.
Steve
In
Kane
South
Show.
Florida alone, someone
Hey,
suffers an
Steve Kane
overdose
Show.
every 2 hours, either from heroin,
Hey, hold on.
fentanyl, or some other prescription medication that's as close as the family medicine cabinet. In fact, mom and dad's medicine cabinet is frequently the gateway to the horrors of hardcore addiction down the road. Drug problems left unattended are only going to get worse. This is not something you can do on your own. You need expert professional help, and if your family is disintegrating in front of your eyes and you feel helpless,
It was very good, very good.
help is available. Call my good friend Sal at the Edge Recovery, 561 area code 523-4325. This is his personal cell phone, 561-523-4325. If your loved one refuses treatment, the Edge Recovery will conduct an intervention and get them into the treatment plan that they need. The Edge Recovery offers every option, from intervention to 30-day rehab to sober living to counseling with a licensed therapist, as well as group therapy treatment. It's covered by most insurance, but no matter what your situation is, the Edge Recovery has options for you. Call Sal at the Edge Recovery. Do it today. 561 area code 523-4325. Again, that's Sal's personal cell phone, 561-523-4325.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Veterans and spouses of veterans, you may be entitled to benefits that you are not aware of, including long-term care benefits. Call attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group and find out what benefits are available to you. With offices in Boca Raton and Fort Lauderdale, call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
All right, welcome back. Brian Craig here with you. Oh, man, this is the Steve Kane Show. We're processing the State of the Union last night, the greatest State of the Union in the history of State of the Unions. And I'll go right back to the phones. Just let me do a quick recap. All of these great things that happened last night, the girl with the scholarship, the family reunited with their husband, with the husband and father who's been on 4 deployments, Rush Limbaugh receiving the highest medal an American civilian can receive from the press. All these things, these are the types of things that happened with the people in the gallery before the State of the Union. We've never seen that before on television, and there were so many tear-jerking moments last night. Oh, man. I'm so proud of this president. I mean, he just really stands up to the forces of the swamp that don't give a damn about this country and don't give a damn about you. They're all like Joe Biden. They're all involved in politics as a con game to make themselves wealthy beyond imagination. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Yeah, Brian, Ray, Sunrise.
Hey, Ray. Saw you last night at Wings Plus. It was good to see you, Ray.
Yeah, I bought a couple of more new hats and so on.
Oh, Wings. I've got a new Trump hat at Wings Plus last night, and the Trump 2020 hats at Wings Plus are very high quality hats. How much were the hats? $10. That's right. That's great.
Brian, there's one thing about that handshake with Pelosi. Someone else mentioned this. I don't know if you caught this. The reason was that, when the speaker introduces the president, she says something like, it's my high honor
Yeah.
to introduce or welcome the president. She didn't say that.
That's right.
It's just a simple thing. Here's the president.
Yeah, here's the president. Yeah. Here's the host of the Celebrity Apprentice.
I also think that there was something else involved there. The president he was handing out. He gave her a copy, he gave Pence a copy, and so on. And really, he didn't. I don't think he even saw her hand extended. But the anger, the hatred, and all these other things. The multimillionaire, she can't afford a good set of benches. But what I really like to talk about is, I wanted to call in yesterday when you were talking about Rush.
Yeah.
I was playing off early in the morning, so I couldn't call. But you talk about tearing. I was just trembling with that Rush. But But you know what struck me? His condition. And I saw him only not in person. I saw pictures of him a couple of weeks ago. He has lost 20 to 30 pounds in just a couple of weeks. He's in bad shape.
Well, I wonder if that is from treatment or just depression.
I should ever be depressed.
Oh, you're facing... Yeah.
When you were talking about replacements for him or fill-ins or...
Fill-in host, permanent fill-in host, not replacements. I don't want to be clear on that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's, you know what I was thinking? We have to look at the job description. There people that come along like Churchill, you mentioned Lincoln before, Einstein. They're special people. They're not once in a lifetime. They're once and forever, you know? And you look at Rush, he's a believer. He loves America. He's an historian. You know, he can talk about anything. He's a multifaceted, you know, and he's also known, you know, everybody thinks about success and he's gotten, you know, a lot of money and stuff like that. They don't know about Rush's biography in the beginning. You know, he was a disc jockey. He was a sports announcer. He did a lot of, and he failed at a few things. I mean, he has a good family. Not saying that he doesn't, but his honesty, his sense of humor, that's, you know, you can't replace...
Well, and I'll tell you a thing about Rush, who, by the way, when Steve was on the air doing Morning Drive in New York City, he became friendly with Rush and socialized with him and did crossover hour with Rush up there in New York. So he knows you know, the thing with Rush, and you got to give him, regardless of what you think about Rush, I don't understand why they call him a racist today. I don't get that. But, you know, here's the thing about Rush. Rush had been around for a long time, but he exploded in popularity with the election of Bill Clinton around that time. And every conservative you see in America today, the Drudge Report happened because of Rush, Breitbart because of Rush. You know, there's I don't like him, but Ben Shapiro wouldn't be around if it wasn't for Rush Limbaugh. Rush Limbaugh gave a voice not just through his show with conservatives, but the conservatives that we have nationwide, these great voices, Dana Loesch over at the NRA, all these people are there because of Rush Limbaugh, who is kind of like the Freedom Rider or the Rosa Parks of the conservative movement, and radio stations and publications and different platforms, the internet and everything. Brought forth conservatives because they saw with Rush that, you know what, there is a silent majority out there, and he was the first really to explode. I know Joe Pine was, Steve, I don't want to take anything away from Joe Pine. Joe Pine was a Republican, anti-Kennedy conservative, and I was mentioning this the other day. When President Kennedy was assassinated, they took him off the air for a month because he was so anti-Kennedy and so conservative. But the greatness of Joe Pine didn't have all these other conservative outlets come about because of him, and Rush did that.
Thousands and thousands of conservative talk radio stations now.
Yeah.
You mentioned Joe Pine and Bob Grant. I'm from New York also, Staten Island, and I've been listening to Rush not from day one, but maybe a couple of weeks after he first came on. Someone mentioned him, and I got out to him right away, you know. But another person, Hannity, filled in for Rush, you know, one time.
Yeah.
Hannity became what he is today.
I did not know that. And I'll tell you something here. I know that I don't like to toot my own horn too much, but I mean, I wouldn't mind filling in for Rush. I think I could do it. I could do it. But you know, the thing that is difficult too, that you don't hear about, the pressure that is put upon Rush Limbaugh from these haters all these decades, you know, and, you know, I know they're saying that he was faking surprise, and I want to just say that I said this at 6, Ray. I don't think he was faking surprise. I think he was trying to hold back tears, and I think because of the hearing loss, I don't think he hears things like we hear them. I don't know how he hears, and I think his reaction was mostly not hearing and being overwhelmed with emotion and not wanting to cry on television.
That's what I was going to say. Overwhelmed with emotion. That's what it was.
I would have been bawling like a baby.
It's the highest civilian honor that you can receive.
It's a big deal.
body, a man facing death, you know, and stage 4, and then he's got a death sentence. I was thinking, well, you know, Russia's going to overcome this with all the advances we have in medicine and the greatest country in the world, and the money Russia has and so on. He's going to overcome this. But after I saw him last night, I was crying like a...
Well, when the president said stage 4, because Rush didn't say stage 4, he said advanced, and then the president said stage 4 cancer, and I was like, whoa, that took me back. I mean, look at Steve Jobs. Look at Steve Jobs, Ray. You know, Steve Jobs had all the money in the world. No one had more money than Steve Jobs, and when you got that cancer, it's you know.
Mark Stein filled in yesterday, and he fills in a lot for him. But I don't know. You know, there's somebody. I think. How about Bongino? Somebody mentioned Sebastian Gorka yesterday too.
Well, I'll tell you. Okay, now this is just my opinion. Okay, I'm a huge fan of talk radio. That's why I got into talk radio. I worked in other kinds of radio, briefly before I got into talk. I've always loved talk radio since I discovered it. And Bongino, I listened to Bongino's podcast, and he's good, but he's not polished. And Sebastian Gorka is good, but he's not polished enough. You've got to have a polished radio talk show host there regularly, and it's yeah.
He's got that sense. Rush has that sense of humor, but he's like you in a lot of ways. That you just know a lot about a lot of different things. He can talk to people at all kind of levels. You know, I mean, not everybody knows that close relationship that he has. He doesn't just live near Trump. He plays golf with Trump. He has dinner with Trump. He knows Trump from way back.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's some things about Trump that people don't know. I had my one of my Trump shirts on last night. I played in his invitational golf tournament.
Yeah.
At the 4 places in Atlantic City. I was going to Atlantic City almost every weekend. It was after my divorce, you know, so I wasn't doing anything with the family money or anything like that. The kids were grown up. My son was in the Marines and stuff like that. So, you know, I saw him on a very personal level. I was at a party where Marlon Nichols was first introduced.
Oh, my goodness.
Seen him. Matter of fact, one time when he came down on he had a helipad on top of the Trump Marina.
Mm-hmm.
I got onto the elevator, and who's on the elevator was Trump with his pilot and one other.
Oh my goodness!
You know, talk and so on, unbelievable.
Well, I'll tell you two things that you know. Steve and I were having lunch on Las Olas Boulevard one day in Fort Lauderdale. A guy came up to us. He was talking to us. This was during the campaign in 2016, and he was up in Palm Beach. One day, this was during the presidential campaign, and he was body surfing with his son. He was like 10, 11, 12 years old. And you know how when you're body surfing, the current moves you, you know? The current moved him from the public beach up to Trump's private beach off of the Mar-a-Lago and all that area up there. And Trump was walking down the beach with Melania, with his security detail, and he didn't know where he was until he saw Trump, and he got up and he apologized. Trump was right there. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to be on. And Trump said, stay here as long as you like. Have a good time. You don't have to leave. You know, there were no TV cameras around. You know, I'll tell you another quick one. One of my neighbors, got a lot of police officers live in my neighborhood, which is great. I love that they bring the cruisers home. You know, it scares away the bad guys. But one of my neighbors and good friends that I've known for many years, our kids went to school together, done security. He does security details when these politicians come to town, and he told me a story that just blew my mind. Not that long ago, he was there for the president, with no TV cameras around. The president came up to every police officer in the detail, not just shook their hand, but talked to them and about their families and their kids and all kinds of things. He worked a detail after that. Bernie Sanders came to town. He walked right by them. Didn't even look at them.
You see, that's another thing I tell you about Trump. I saw him in small areas with people that work for him. You know, waiters, servers, people like that. When they had a little private club for VIPs and so on that I was part of.
Wow.
He would talk to people, greet people, and you could see what they thought of him and how much.
Well, I'll tell you. Go on YouTube. There is President Trump many years ago did a thing with Oprah Winfrey that was wild, and you can watch this on YouTube. He did a thing with her, you know, like that undercover boss thing. He did it, but he wasn't undercover. And he did a bunch of different jobs at Trump Tower one day. He delivered room service. He worked as a bellhop, you know, and all this stuff. And what impressed me is that whatever area he was at Trump Tower, he knew everybody in the department, from the bellboys to the dishwashers, and that really, I was like, wow. And that was back on Oprah years ago before he was running. Hey Ray, I got to run, but listen, I want you to call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot if you haven't talked to him in the last week or so, because he and I were talking about you, and give him, if you can give him a call, I you know, well, I don't want to say, but give him a call, you'll find out. Oh, you talked to him. No. But we got something for you. So call Ian today, and you got a surprise coming, Ray. Got a surprise. We're always looking out for Ray. All right, I got to get Ray off the line, or Steve will kill me. It's been on too long. The rest of you on the line, stand by. We'll take a break and be back. Okay. My name's Brian. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show. We'll be back.
President Trump here. Join Steve Kane and Brian Craig on the Steve Kane Trump 2020 Victory Cruise on board the Celebrity Edge. The cruise will be to celebrate my re-election. Don't be a loser, be a winner, just like me. And join Steve Kane and Brian Craig on the Steve Kane Trump
That's right, join us.
Victory Cruise.
Thank you, Mr. President. Join Steve Kane and me, Brian Craig, celebrating the victory of President Trump as we sail December 6th out of Fort Lauderdale on a 7-day Trump 2020 victory cruise. First stop, San Juan, Puerto Rico. Second stop, Tortola, British Virgin Islands.
Sarah.
And then St. Martin. Call in at Cruise and Travel Depot, 561-244-5779, 561-244-5779, and join us celebrating the re-election of President Trump, 561-244-5779.
If you suffer with
You guys know, Rob, who's in the chat all the time, he goes with us on the cruise, and he and his wife, they were texting me this morning. He's in India. That's why he's not in the chat. And they were, Rob and his wife were sending me these videos. They're at this place in India today called Temple of the Rats, and the floor is covered with wild rats. It was like freaking me out. I hate rodents. You guys know Rob. He's in here all the time.
A pair of therapeutic shoes made specially for diabetics. You're probably
Crazy.
Not aware, but as a diabetic Medicare recipient, you are entitled to one pair.
I know. I couldn't believe it.
Diabetic shoes with 3 custom inserts per year. These are not the ugly Frankenstein shoes.
Yeah.
These are name brand shoes.
I couldn't believe it. And they had like this pan, and all the rats were like drinking or eating out of it. Yeah, Rob and his wife, Leigh, they're good people. They go with us on all the cruises. Make sure you subscribe if you're not subscribed. If you're new, this is the most pro-Trump radio show anywhere in the world.
At 954-597-7060 or online at thesouleauthority.com. That's THESOLE authority.com. Tell them Steve Kane sent you.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search.
All righty, we are back. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show. Go right back to the phone. Phones are very busy. I'm taking the calls in the order in which they were received. Okay? Good morning. You're on the radio.
Brian, Jeff in Maine.
Hey, Jeff in Maine. How are you?
I'm doing great. Look, I got some shots yesterday, and boy, they kicked in, and I'm doing a lot better than I have in week.
Oh, man, yeah.
Look, that was the greatest State of the Union address ever.
I know, but I hate them. I hate them. It was. I mean, there has never been a State of the Union like that. What do you think about Nancy with the tearing of the speech? Do you think that was planned before the State of the Union, or was it because of the handshake and she decided to do it on the spot?
I believe it was staged because the mainstream news media cameras that picked it up must have cued her which camera to look at.
Yeah.
He never blocked the view. I believe it was all staged, Brian.
Yeah, so she tore up the names of people like that poor girl who was kidnapped and turned into a slave by ISIS. Tore her name up. Pretty bad, pretty disgusting.
Sorry about that.
I said Nancy Pelosi, when she tore up that speech, tore up names like that poor girl that was kidnapped and made a slave by ISIS. You know, I mean, she tore up her name.
And of the little 21
Oh.
5-day baby that was saved and lived.
Oh, I know. The Democrats sat down for a little baby that was born so premature. Crazy. Nope, not on
The
Periscope.
earliest preborn ever to survive.
That's amazing. Really, ever? I didn't know that. Is that a record ever?
They said.
Wow. Wow.
One more thing on Facebook this morning, a guy put in 2 penal codes that Nancy Pelosi violated when she tore up that legal document of the copy of the speech.
You know, that's it. You know, I'm glad you brought. I was going to bring that up a little later in the show. You know, the president is required constitutionally not to do the State of the Union speech, but to give the State of the Union in writing, deliver it to Congress, the Speaker and the President of the Senate. And it is a legal document. It is a constitutional document, like you said, and destroying a federal document of that level. I was wondering if it is a crime.
Penal code.
Well, I wonder what the punishment is for that.
Well, one of them said it was up to 3 years in prison.
Oh my goodness, I like that one.
Oh, you know it.
Yeah.
There's only one thing we have to worry about now is voter fraud. And Judicial Watch with Tom Fitton and Jay Sekulow with the ACLJ are demanding states to clear up their voter registration.
Well, they need to go to, they need to start by going to Iowa. And, Buttigieg, so my understanding, Charlie Kirk put this on Twitter last night, and I might be off on the dollar amounts a little bit because I'm doing this off memory from Charlie Kirk's tweet. But Charlie Kirk tweeted yesterday that voting app in Iowa cost $60,000, and Mayor Pete gave $42,000 to the company that developed the app. So basically, he paid for the app development. And I don't buy, I'm going to play a little later the Democrat chair in Iowa saying that, well, let me play it now. I mean, this guy is so, let me see, let me get it. This is the Democrat Party chairman of Iowa.
And here, in just a couple of minutes, we will be reporting 62% of precincts from all 99 counties. The bottom line is that we hit a stumbling block.
Yeah.
The reporting of the data. But the one thing I want you to know, we know this data is accurate.
Yeah, we know the data is accurate. Who buys that? Who buys that? There needs to be, I'm going to support Joe Biden and the rest with their lawsuits. There needs to be a hand recount. There needs to be a hand recount of the paper trail.
Once again, stacking the odds against Sanders because they don't like him.
That's right.
I believe it's going to implode the Democrat Party.
And I'll tell you about Iowa, about the voter fraud. Trump is so popular. The Democrats are smaller in numbers than they've ever been. They couldn't mount a successful fraud operation in Iowa. I mean, they stole it. They stole it for Mayor Pete. There was fraud involved, but it was done electronically through that app, and they barely are squeaking through. I mean, he's basically, him and Bernie, last I saw, like a point apart. So it's a statistical tie between Bernie and Pete. They couldn't fully fix and steal Iowa's caucus. Okay, so if they can't do that in a small sampling like Iowa, I don't think they've got the juice to do it nationwide.
But some of the computers used for voting have Windows 7.
Yeah.
Very easily hackable.
Yeah. Computers should not be involved in voting whatsoever. It really needs to be the old-fashioned way, like from the 70s, before all this. Just the old-fashioned ballots. That's what it needs to be.
Each state should have Republicans and Democrats present equal counting the votes.
Yeah. Well, when we had the recount in 2000 in Florida, and they were doing the recount, they had the person with the ballot, and then on each side there was a Republican and a Democrat on the other. No matter what the ballot showed, the Democrats said Gore, 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 Gore. No matter what. I mean, I was, yeah, and every vote was a Gore vote. You can't try the poll want the computers should not be involved in our voting system whatsoever. The old-fashioned 60s and 70s voting machines are what should be used because it's before modern-day computers. There's no hacking. I mean, using an app on someone's cell phone, I mean, this is crazy. We need someone we need someone to come from like Venezuela or Cuba to be election watchers. Like Jimmy Carter likes to go and watch, I mean, what the Democrats did in Iowa has so divided their party going into the next state. I mean, it's been yesterday. There were 3 or 4 hashtags trending on Twitter about Mayor Pete stealing Iowa. So yeah. All right. Appreciate the call. All right. Take care. Those of you on hold, stand by. Phone's very busy today. I'm going to go right to the phones after the break at 7 a.m. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. 1 hour down, 2 to go. We'll be back.
3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
Stop paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires at Friendly Tire and
Shenanigans.
Market, where they have all the major brands like Goodyear and Firestone at discount prices that absolutely can't be beaten. Steve Kane's tires for his Toyota van at the other shops, $175 a tire. At Friendly Tire, just $75 a tire. That's a $100 savings per tire. Tires for my daughter Emily's car, $135 at the shops around town. The price at Friendly Tire, only $65. That's a $70 savings per tire. These prices are out the door and on the road. Free mounting and balancing and no added charges. Friendly Tire have a great selection of good used tires too, starting at just $30 for most cars. Call my good buddy Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire. Tell him what you drive and he will give you a great low price right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net.
Do you have a long-term care policy that's costing you hundreds of dollars a month? How would you like to have that same coverage with no monthly premium? It is possible. Call Debbie at I Will Advisors, 954-753-8080, and find out how. Stop paying thousands of dollars a year in long-term care premiums and have that coverage you need and the coverage you want. Call Debbie right now, 954-753-8080, 954-753-8080.
This is Adrienne Kane, Steve's daughter, and I want to tell you about my Pillow mattress. I was talking to Dad, and I was telling him I wasn't sleeping at night. I was tossing and turning all night long. I had an old, worn-out, lumpy, bumpy mattress that was so uncomfortable, I wasn't getting any sleep. A couple of days later, there was a knock at the door, and it was a My Pillow mattress. I slept on it that night, and ever since I've been sleeping the whole night through. No more tossing, no more turning, and when my alarm goes off in the morning, I'm up and ready to go and well rested. Give your kids, grandkids, spouse, or yourself the gift of a good night's sleep with a MyPillow mattress. Go to mypillow.com and use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E. When you use the promo code KANE, you can save up to $300 off your MyPillow mattress. They come in all sizes, from twin to California king and every size in between. Go to mypillow.com and be sure to use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, and give the gift of a MyPillow mattress. Worth its weight in restful sleep.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Avoid probate with a revocable living trust. $350 for single people, $450 for married couples. When you complete your trust with attorney Barry Siegel, he will give you a $100 gift certificate to Tavolino Italian Restaurant in Coral Springs. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices in South Florida, including downtown Fort Lauderdale, Coral Gables, and downtown Miami. 1-855-FLA-3782.
You
are listening to South Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve K. Call the show toll free. Dial 1-888-KANE 1. That's 1-888.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. Welcome back, one and all. I'm going to go to our full board in just a moment. We're talking about the State of the Union, the greatest State of the Union ever. I was brought to tears on a number of occasions. I imagine many of you were too. We're talking about that. We're talking about Nancy Pelosi speaking to herself during the State of the Union and, of course, tearing up a document of the federal government, an official document of the federal government. Now, we don't know. See, what we don't know is that copy, do they transmit another way, the real official copy, and that is kind of like a copy of the copy and not the official way? The copy that she tore up, is that the official document? I don't know. These are things we've got to find out. Let's go to Steve in Royal Palm. Hey, Steve, good morning.
Morning. First off, the demonstration that Nancy Pelosi was scolding her side about, that was Coral Springs' own Fred Gutenberg protesting up there when Trump spoke of the Second Amendment, and they physically threw him out of the...
Well, I'm not going to, so far as the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas father that was removed, I don't care what his politics are. I'm not going to criticize a man who's gone through what he's gone through. You're not going to hear that from me. But you can't carry on that way during the State of the Union. So unfortunately, he had to be removed by security. He can't carry on that way.
Also, understand this. The State of the Union is what the president has accomplished in the year and what the future is going to look like. So here she went, and everything he said, how he's going to make America better and we're getting into a better place and all that, she ripped that up. I tell you, if I'm going to make a commercial for Trump running in 2020, that's going to be on the...
Well, she ripped up the name of the American soldier who was killed by Soleimani, whose widow and child were up there in the gallery. I mean, look what she did. Look at what she did.
Trump, when they hand down the acquittal on the impeachment, rip that up.
Well, Steve, I told you absolutely in slow motion. I was talking about this the other day. The difference between the president's State of the Union and any other State of the Union is he has a list of incredible accomplishments throughout. It's not colorful, vague poetry. Don't ask what you can do for your country, but what your country can do for you. Yay! What does that mean? Yay! Oh, yay! You know what I mean? He's like, listen, I did this, I did that. This happened, I did this. You've never seen very specific accomplishments in such numbers listed by any president. It's not, and it was like a Trump rally. So the hell what? It was an American rally. It was a rally for America. When the chant started for USA, look at these Democrats sitting on their hands. They wouldn't even cheer for the United States of America, federal office holders.
But what is Pelosi's game plan in her demonstration of her... Okay, let me put it this way. She is the lead contact point for all her minions to the President of the United States as Speaker in the House. He hasn't spoken to her for months now after that dust-up they had when she ran outside of the meeting and said Trump was crazy and all that. Reportedly, he hasn't spoken to her since then. So how will she be able to relay requests and problems that her...
She can't. She's a lame duck. She's a lame duck. I mean, that behavior last night brought us so much closer to retaking the House of Representatives. But I'll tell you, you talk about what you asked, what is Nancy Pelosi's game plan? She doesn't have one. When you're so consumed with anger, You're not thinking rationally. She has no plan. She's winging it. Although I do believe the tearing of the speech was planned because of the camera picking it up so careful. I'm surprised there wasn't a mic there so we could hear the paper tear. But she doesn't have a plan. She's totally out of her. I mean, she was speaking. She was mumbling to herself, moving her lips during it. Come on.
They make great commercial feed when they start showing her actions and the actions of her people.
It's going to happen.
The woman and the Tuskegee airman, but us.
Oh yeah. Now when he brought up Rush, they're making fun of Rush, saying he was acting surprised. I don't think he was acting surprised. I think Rush is dealing with his mortality, and now he's being honored by this great president in a way that he probably never dreamed he would be on. I mean, Rush Limbaugh last night just got elevated officially and historically to the status of Edward R. Murrow and Jose Marti and other great people of the, you know what I mean? Great, well-known journalists and newsmakers and important people, America's newsman. But I think he was fighting back emotion. I think he doesn't want to cry in public. I would have been bawling like a baby, but I don't think he wanted to cry in public, and I think his reaction was the overwhelming of emotion and trying to hold back the tears at the same time. What do you think about Rush's reaction?
Well, like you said, here he is. He's been talking about our system of government for 30 years. Now he is in the center. He has the government applauding him. So I agree 100% with you. Maybe he knew already in advance he was going to get this, but until it actually happened and he sees all these congressmen and senators applauding him and the president, the person he speaks the most about, applauding him, oh man.
Well, Donald Trump's path to the presidency with the current Congress began with the Republican Revolution of 1994 with Newt Gingrich. And Newt Gingrich's Contract for America played a role in that, but a small role. Rush Limbaugh brought the Republican victory in 1994. No, without question, brought that Republican victory in 1994 because there was a big conservative movement in this country that took off because of Rush. And if Rush Limbaugh would not have exploded in syndication popularity and success during those years, Donald Trump very well may not even be the president today. I'm serious. He set a conservative movement in motion in 1993.
Understand, he's going to have radio disc jockeys emulating what he does. I mean, he makes what, $32 million a year?
More. No, he makes several million a month. I remember when he had he had a probation officer, with his addiction problem, and they had released, it leaked out his form with his probation officer, and he was making millions a month back then. A month.
Well, he's already given birth to a lot of radio, like you. Look at you. I'm sure a lot of what Rush does influences how you react, to callers and how you deal with things. Because he's the one that sets the game plan in motion, follows him. Because if he does something and it works, you got to be insane not to do the same thing.
Well, I don't. I wouldn't say that with me because I really don't. I respect Rush, but I don't listen to him. I used to many years ago, and I learned everything I've learned from Steve KANE. So I don't want to. No, that's not the case in my instance. But he did. He has changed the face not just of radio. I was talking in the last hour about this. Every Drudge Report would never have been there without Rush. Not at the level it became. Breitbart, Newsmax would not be as big as it is today. WorldNet Daily, Michael Savage, all he in 93 with the election of Bill Clinton is when Rush Limbaugh exploded in popularity, and he let people know that there is a silent majority of conservatives out there. And when people realize that there is a strong conservative silent majority, that opened up the doors. That's how capitalism works. You know what I mean? That's what that's about.
We're not silent anymore.
That's that. Well, what Russia's success shows, okay? What Russia's success shows in the early 90s is that there is a market, a large market that, because it's a capitalist system. When I say market, I'm talking about an advertising market for conservatives. That conservatives are large in number. They very well may be the majority. They are the majority. And it opened up the door when he let the world know that being a strong, open conservative was something that was marketable and profitable from a business perspective. And that's why all these things, remember, Drudge exploded because of Monica Lewinsky. Would the Lewinsky scandal have exploded on Drudge if Rush hadn't had millions of listeners in the early 90s? No. So no, he is really a father of the conservative movement in this country. There's no question about it. And that's he deserved that medal, and it was perfect timing.
Let's see what happens when they finally hand down that impeachment garbage and his acquittal. I want to hear what his response is going to be, because this is opening the door to him moving on to doing what he needs to do without the shadow of Mueller and all that crap.
Well, we're going to find. I mean, I don't know if we're going to have a blue flush or not. Everywhere, very weak candidates everywhere, and with weak candidates everywhere like this, that means it's going to depress their turnout in congressional races, and there's going to be some big upsets in the congressional races. There are going to be Democrats that will lose, that people would have thought had lifetime jobs.
Congressmen and women in the Democrat section of that thing last night, they permanently won't be there as of January.
There's a lot of the squad are a bunch of one-hit wonders.
Oh, AOC, they say supposedly she's going after Schumer next.
Well, that would be spectacular. All right, Stephen Royal Palm, thanks for the call. All right, let's take one more call and then we'll break. All right, good morning. You're on the radio.
This is Mike.
Hey, Mike.
Here's the thing about
Hey, Neil.
Nancy Pelosi. Yes, what should be done to Nancy Pelosi for destroying a document? Well, she's a Democrat. Remember, Sandy Burglar goes into the National Archives and steals documents and stuffs them down his pants. And what happened to him?
No, there was. He lost his security clearance. There was some punishment and investigations done. Well, here, like I said, Mike, we don't know if Nancy Pelosi's tearing. What we're talking about, if you're just tuning in, people, the document that the president gives the Speaker of the House and the President of the Senate, who's the Vice President, is an official government document. The president is required constitutionally to deliver the State of the Union in written form to the leaders of both houses of Congress. We don't know if that is the official document or if the official document is delivered through the clerk's office or something. I don't know. So we don't know if she really tore up the official government document or a ceremonial copy of it. But regardless of that, she tore up a document filled with names like that poor girl who was kidnapped and turned into a slave for ISIS. And there were many other great Americans in that speech, and she tore their names up, and she threw it down like a witch. And your little dog, too, at the end. She's a disgusting person, Nancy Pelosi.
Well, yeah. Well, she's one of the few that probably are in there for life,
Well, she's from San Francisco. I was hoping that the president would announce that Scott Pressler was going to lead a team to San Francisco to clean the feces off the sidewalks of the streets of Nancy City. But it was a great. Did you tear up at all during the State of the Union?
Yeah, I mean, I look at the little girl that they're going to give a scholarship to.
Oh.
Well, the young boy that wants to be an astronaut, that he's gonna find a way onto the Space Force for her.
Yeah, the grandson of the Tuskegee Airmen. I hope he's the first American on Mars. That would be spectacular.
That would be spectacular. And look, this was a speech that this is what I've done. I mean, I know you don't particularly care for Glenn Beck a lot, but
yeah,
one of these things, it's one of these things that 2 years ago, he was talking about, now this was at the time of the MS-13 being called animals by the apoplectic nature of how the media, and the Democrats responded to that. And what Glenn Beck said was, look at what the guy has done, and look at what he's going to do, and tell me you're not going to vote.
Well, Donald Trump has raised the expectation of the American voter to a level it's, now voters want results. They don't, I watched the response given by the governor of Michigan. I had never heard of her before. And it was all vague platitudes again, no specifics. People don't want to hear that. People want to hear hardcore, real accomplishments now from our politicians. He's raised the bar to a level that Democrats are not ready for. They having to actually accomplish things. Hey, Mike, I got to run for a break, but thanks so much. Those of you on hold, stand by. My name's Brian Craig. This is Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. By the way, did you see Nigel Farage up there in the gallery? I saw Nigel Farage. Oh, man. That's right. Britain's been freed this week. The United Kingdom has been freed from the European Union. They are no longer an occupied country. I did not see the lowering of the EU flags on television around Parliament. I really wanted to see that, but they didn't make a big ceremony out of that. All right, listen, we'll take our break 20 minutes after 7. This is the Steve Kane Show. Don't go anywhere.
Homeowners, would you like to save money each and every month? Of course you would. We all want to save more money. But how? By calling I Will Advisors. That's how. At 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080. And have their expert team review your homeowner's policy. I Will Advisors will review your policy at no charge. Most homeowners never review their policy, but it should be reviewed every year. You commercial property owners, same goes for your property insurance policy. So what are you waiting for? Call I Will Advisors and start saving money. 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080.
If you suffer from excruciating
Be right back,
pain
guys.
or sciatica, pay careful attention to what I'm about to tell you. According to a study in the medical journal Spine, back surgeries to alleviate back pain frequently backfire, leaving the patient in more pain than before they had the surgery. A second study from the University of Cincinnati College of Medicine provides clear evidence that 74% of surgeries for back pain fail. But there is an end to your suffering. There's a solution to your problem waiting for you with Dr. Troy Lamaski. Dr. Troy Lamaski is my personal chiropractor, and if the name sounds familiar, it should. He's the brother of Dr. Janae Lamaski. Dr. Troy specializes in the elimination of back pain, sciatica, joint
Welcome,
pain,
everyone. If you're new, please subscribe.
without surgery.
You will not
or
find
medication.
a
While he
more
can help you
pro
with
Donald
your
Trump
back and
radio
neck pain,
show
Dr.
anywhere in
Troy
America.
also
I
provides
promise you.
treatment for the hips, the shoulders, the knees. If you've been in a car accident, any type of injury,
We're just in a
or
commercial
slip and
break.
fall, the pain
Sometimes I
won't
got to
go
rest
away.
my
Well,
voice
you
during
wanna get
the
back to your old
break.
self,
My,
you want to call Dr. Troy. His number 954-463-3036. That's 954-463-3036. Online at drtroylamaski.com. Tell him that Steve Kane sent you.
Listen to The Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWN.
All righty, we're back. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Now, Valentine's Day, right around the corner, there is no better gift than a MyPillow product for Valentine's Day, okay? I mean, I use a MyPillow. My wife, my daughter uses a MyPillow. Even my pets have the MyPillow pet bed. And if you go to MyPillow.com and click on the radio listener special, there are so many great deals that you can receive when you use the promo code KANE at checkout, KANE. Right? They've got the 2 MyPillows for the price of 1, which is a spectacular deal. The MyPillow Giza Cotton Dream Sheets. Buy 1 set of sheets, get another set for free. You've got to use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout. And there's many other great specials. So buy your Valentine a MyPillow product for Valentine's Day. I'll tell you, that MyPillow mattress, up to $400 off when you use the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E, at MyPillow.com. You can also order by phone. So when you order by phone, spell out K-A-N-E to to the person on the phone. And the number to order by phone is 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. And remember, when you use that promo code KANE and you buy a MyPillow product, you are supporting the Steve Kane Show, the most pro-Donald Trump radio show in the world. And you're also supporting the most out-of-the-closet company when it comes to out-of-the-closet support of President Trump, and that's MyPillow. So make sure you use that promo code KANE, K-A-N-E. Good morning. You are on the radio.
Hey, Brian. Good morning.
Oh, hey, Nick in Baltimore. Good morning.
Yeah. And there's like two quick things. The big takeaway from this is, if you look at President Trump, his gift is he relates to people. And when you compare that to the mentally ill Democrats, which they are, they don't relate to anybody except.
Yeah. Well, what do you think about Pelosi last night, talking to herself, rambling in a very strange way to Pence on occasion, sometimes to people in the gallery, but the speech, tearing up the speech at the end with names of American dead on it, you know? Do you think she planned that out? Do you think she planned that out in advance of the State of the Union, or was that a spur of the moment thing?
I'm not sure. I think it was a spiteful thing to do. But I'll tell you what, the previous callers who mentioned the fact that it's a legal document, she did violate something by tearing up a legal document, and she should be censured.
Well, she can't be censured in the House. How can the Speaker be censured when they, Yeah. Yeah, but they can't. They say, yeah. She should. But what she did was such a fit of anger when she threw it down.
Yeah.
When I was watching it live, and I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. And I was watching on Fox. Martha McCallum didn't even notice it. It happened so quickly.
Well, we were watching on, I think...
yeah, One American News, yeah.
And they had very good commentary afterwards. But I wanted to mention there was a special election up here yesterday, and Rocky Moore Cummings lost.
And what's the significance of this? The Maryland election?
Yeah, the congressional seat left by Elijah Cummings.
Oh, who won it? So who won? Oh, so Elijah Cummings' seat. Okay, so who's getting Cummings' seat?
His wife lost, and the Democrat who won is Kwesi Mfume, who had the seat before it.
You're kidding me! Kwesi Mfume is going back. Oh my God! I used to call him you make me feel Kwesi Mfume. Kwesi Mfume is taking that seat?
He's the Democrat candidate. The Republican candidate who won is Kimberly Kasich.
Yeah.
There's going to be a runoff in April.
This
is that Rocky Moore Cummings lost, and I think the Republican candidate, Kimberly Kasich, had a very good showing, and she's met with Trump. So
you think, this is interesting, so you think Elijah Cummings' seat is in play, is what you're telling us. Well, who would have thought? That would be, that's interesting. I should look into this a little bit more, because that's a good bellwether as to how the election's going to turn out.
We're tired of 350 murders, and we're already up to about 32 murders, and it's February what?
Well, I'll tell you, Baltimore, when there were people in Baltimore talking about the piling up of garbage, Elijah Cummings was so embedded with the establishment there, he didn't have to worry about constituents. He was there for life. And now I guess people feel that they can rise up and have some freedom there.
Listen to the radio locally here. People are fed up, and it's changing. I'm not saying she's going to win. I hope she does, but and I'm not in that district. But things are changing because people are waking up. And look, the jobs are coming back.
Well, hold on. If the Democrats, if the Democrats have to fight for Elijah Cummings' seat, Nick, if the Democrats have to fight for Elijah Cummings' seat, that's not good news for the Democrats nationally.
No.
Because that's one that they should never have to fight. It's like AOC's district. And I'll tell you what, AOC, I've read so many press accounts from the local news in New York. She is not liked in her district. I've heard so many negative reports in her out of her district. She could, I wouldn't make such a bold prediction there, but AOC, through her arrogance, could lose that seat, just like the incumbent that she beat.
Well, the Democrats have overplayed their hand, and last night was a display. I mean, when Nancy Pelosi did what she did, in smearing every American, including Rush Limbaugh and the Tuskegee Airmen, and all of those people, that little girl there.
No,
the
not
baby,
yet. There's no census until this year.
When the soldier was brought back.
Oh man. Yeah.
Yeah. Cheering up with that one.
When the little girl who was born at 5 months, I mean and the Democrats just sat on their hands. Just sick.
It was amazing. He's amazing. He's done it all, and I'm waiting. Once we clear 4 p.m. Eastern and this whole nightmare is over, watch for the other shoes to drop, because that's when.
Well, the Democrats got a lot of problems. Not just the acquittal today, but the Democrats believe, the Democrat voter base believe that Pete Buttigieg stole Iowa with that app, and that there's some major division going on inside the Democrat Party, and that's really going to hurt their activist voter base. I mean, come on, he gave $40-some thousand of the $60,000 that was used to make the app that they used in Iowa for voting. Come on, and he comes out and announces victory before one vote was counted. Come on. Yeah, Charlie Kirk tweeted it yesterday. The app cost $60,000. I might be a little off on the numbers because I'm just doing this off memory, but Charlie Kirk tweeted the app in Iowa cost $60,000, and Mayor Pete gave around $40,000 to the company that developed the app.
That's right.
Yeah. All right, Nick in Baltimore, thanks so much for the call. All right, let's go to Rabbi David. Rabbi David, good morning.
Hi. Can you imagine having someone sit behind you while you do your show, making faces? I think the time has come when we have to do away with having this idiot sit behind a president while he's speaking.
You know what I wonder about? If I were interviewing the president, and I would ask him about that, and what I wonder, does Nancy Pelosi and the vice president show up on the reflection of the teleprompter, where he could see that when he was talking, when she was behind him?
I think the teleprompter it would be very distracting to be able to read if you saw that. I think he doesn't know what's going on behind him.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I think they should have, when the woman from the governor from Michigan spoke,
oh, please,
they have people sitting behind her making faces.
Yeah.
From Republicans behind her.
And making faces and talking to people and talking to themselves and talking to others. It was very strange, Nancy Pelosi, very strange last night.
It really shows, by the way, it really shows how leaders work under pressure. Trump has been working under all the pressure of everything going on, and he handles it and keeps it together. She cannot handle a little pressure. What pressure is she under? She's running a Congress. She's third in line, and she still can't hold it together to listen.
Oh, this is interesting. Okay, this is interesting. So you think that Nancy Pelosi has just collapsed under the pressure of being the top Democrat in the age of Trump? It wasn't just Trump derangement, that she can't handle the pressure of the job right now.
Yeah, no, she's lost it. She can't. How can't we?
Well, what you're saying is she's had an emotional breakdown. So you're saying that Nancy Pelosi, her behavior last night, from everything, shows that she's had an emotional breakdown. Is that what you were saying, Rabbi? I think you should have your psychologist watch her. Sit there and interpret a person having an emotional breakdown on television. Yeah.
The eye movements, the facial movements, the speaking to herself. I mean, this is a person, losing it on.
Yeah, that's something. Yeah.
keep in mind one other thing, that this whole speech was written and prepared and all this stuff orchestrated during the time that Trump was being impeached and was being tormented and oppressed. This is what he was working on.
Nick's calls are always great.
And that really goes to show how he can hold it together.
What was the most a State of the Union like we've never seen before? And I was talking at the beginning of the show, Rabbi. These things that we saw, Rush getting the medal, the little girl getting the voucher scholarship, the reuniting of the family with Afghan, all that stuff usually happens before the speech. He was the first one to ever do this during the State of the Union in the gallery itself. We've never seen that before. But what was the most emotional part last night to you?
Wow, I tell you, I'm a crier. And I couldn't hold back.
No.
I saw Rush Limbaugh. There's a real life story, and also the parents who lost their daughter, and they held up a picture. Because the other things seem a little more resolved. You know, the girl got her scholarship, the girl got born, the father came back. But the ones that are a little open-ended, like Rush's mortality, and the one that lost their child, that is those are tough endings.
And can you imagine? I want to apologize. I cannot recall the name of the American girl who was turned into a slave of ISIS. Kate Stan. Yeah, and can you imagine? They probably were gang raping her every day of those last years. And then remember what happened? Remember what Obama? Yeah, I mean, I don't even want to think about it. And Rush, the president, I guess, broke a little news because he went a little further than Rush. He said Rush has stage 4 cancer. And Rush didn't say that on his show the other day, stage 4 cancer. I think that's why the look on his face where they said he was acting surprised, I think that might have surprised him a little bit because he didn't say he had stage 4 cancer. He said he had advanced cancer, which is much vaguer of a term than stage 4. And it was, even
if they said to him, we're going to give you an award, we're just telling you you're not really supposed to know or whatever. A big deal, so he might have gone, like, wow, who cares? Leave it alone. And by the way, and I'll even go as far as to say, even if the woman thought her husband was going to show up and had inklings of it, that her husband's coming back, who cares if someone is,
And I'll tell you another thing, because what the left are saying, especially online about Rush, these last couple of days is disgusting, and a lot of people are attacking him for his drug addiction. He was addicted to opioid drugs before it was the epidemic that's talked about. Let me tell you, for someone to be addicted like that, to cost him his hearing, still a broadcaster, you don't want to make fun of someone's incredible journey from addiction to recovery and maintaining success, because what you're doing is you're mocking people out there that are struggling with their addiction. Rush is a role model to those that are addicted to opioid drugs, regardless of your political background. He had thousands of those pills, and he was hardcore addicted, and it cost him his hearing, and he overcame it under tremendous. I mean, for a drug addict to deal with the public pressure that he was under when that came out, and to overcome it's an amazing story. And many people will see them mock Rush Limbaugh and his drug addiction issue and be afraid to come forward because they don't want to be made an outcast and mocked. You don't want to do that. It stops people from seeking recovery.
Well, 70 to 90% of people relapse, even once they go to recovery. And it just goes to show what kind of person that Rush is.
Well, yeah. All right, Rabbi, I got to run for a break, but thanks so much for the call. We're very late for the break. We'll take that break and be right back after this.
This is Brian Craig. I've been telling you about the great deals and incredible customer service at Friendly Tire on both new tires and used tires. One of our listeners, Antonio, went to Friendly Tire and called to share with us his experience of buying used tires at Friendly Tire in Margate.
Good morning. You're on the radio.
Hey, yes, Brian. I want to give you a quick testimony about the tire place up in Margate, Friendly Tire. Friendly Tire is everything you said it would be, man. I went up there and got me some used tires. And when I went up there, man, he was very courteous. My whole family's going for that one, man. Everything you said it was going to be, man. I appreciate you for that, man. And Mike's a great guy, man.
Well, what's your name?
Antonio.
All right, Antonio. Hey, I'm glad we could save you and your family lots of money on tires at Friendly Tire.
Oh, no doubt, man. Thanks so much, man.
Do what Antonio did. Stop into Friendly Tire and find incredible deals on both new and used tires. Give Friendly Mike a call right now. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. And Mike will give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire in Margate.
President Trump here. Join Steve Kane and Brian Craig on the Steve Kane Trump 2020 Victory Cruise on board the Celebrity Edge. The cruise will be to celebrate my re-election. Don't be a loser, be a winner, just like me. And join Steve Kane and Brian Craig on the Steve Kane Trump 2020 Victory Cruise.
Thank you, Mr. President. Join Steve Kane and me, Brian Craig, celebrating the victory of President Trump as we sail December 6th out of Fort Lauderdale on a 7-day Trump 2020 Victory Cruise. First stop in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Second stop, Tortola, British Virgin Islands, and then St. Martin. Call in at Cruise and Travel Depot, 561-244-5779, 561-244-5779, and join us celebrating the re-election of President Trump, 561-244-5779.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Avoid probate with a revocable living trust. $350 for single people, $450 for married couples. When you complete your trust with attorney Barry Siegel, he will give you a $100 gift certificate to Tavolino Italian Restaurant in Coral Springs. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices in South Florida, including downtown Fort Lauderdale, Coral Gables, and downtown Miami. 1-855 FLA3782.
Listen to The Steve Kane Show, live in Morning Drive on 1470
All right, yeah, you know, our Trump 2020 Victory Cruise, December 6th, we leave for a week. You just heard the president telling you about it. It's going to be a great cruise. And all of you that have joined us on the past cruises, Ian and I are reworking all of the activities, including we're doing on the first night. We're changing up a little bit on the first night where we're doing an incredible meet and greet. So everybody in our group can get to know one another. But there's many other we're going to have activities planned each and every day in port and at sea. And if you've already made reservations, because I know a lot of you have, oh man, have a lot of you made reservations, call Ian over at Cruise and Travel Depot for some things that I'm not going to tell you on the air, but you'll find out when you call. Ian's number, 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. Join us, our great group, our Trump-supporting family of cruisers. Join us on this great 2020 Trump Victory Cruise. Call in again, 561-244-5779. Good morning, you're on the radio.
Good morning.
Oh, hey, Doug, met you last night, Doug, at Wings Plus. We've met. I did when I saw you. I did remember we have met before. You weren't calling so much, I guess, the last time we met, but I did recognize from meeting you before. How could I forget that head of hair you have? My goodness, you've got hair like Adrian Zmed from T.J. Hooker. You got a lot of hair.
Well, having some people don't.
Oh man. Yeah, it's like you're like you've got the hair of an '80s rocker. I mean, you got. I wouldn't trim it either if I were you. Keep it growing.
That's me, an '80s rocker. Anyway, the response from the Democrats, the lying response. But I got to tell you, it was all full of lies. But man, it was delivered very well and well written. That woman's dangerous, man, because she is lies, but it sounds believable. And we could
talking about Pelosi. Well, I would say Pelosi, I agree with you. She's dangerous because she is out of control emotionally, mentally, and she talks to herself. She was talking to herself. She's third in line for the presidency, and she's talking to herself. Come on. I mean, is she stable?
Written in the Constitution says he has to give them what he's going to say, because they turn around and make the response based on what he said.
Yeah.
Well, it should be, you should just go up and say, and then they have to do their response on their own. Copy what he.
Well, I hope some reporters try to establish whether or not she did break the law by tearing up a government document. You know, she was asked she was asked after. Let me play the clip. I know it's a little hard to hear, but she was asked why she ripped up the speech right after the State of the Union. Let me pull this up. Here we go. Okay, now I know that's hard to hear, so I'll tell you what she said. She said it was better than the alternative. So what was the alternative to ripping it up? Was she going to light it on fire? What was she going to do?
Or something. They're fidgeting in the back there. It was very.
Do you think do you think she planned on ripping the speech up before the State of the Union, or did she do it because he wouldn't shake her hand?
I think everything's planned out. Her smirks and her fidgeting and fooling around with documents to say, "Oh, this is not. Don't listen. I'm bored." This is all planned, I think. But maybe she's really just dumb and just did it on the spur. But I don't think so.
It was pretty outrageous. I mean, and the talking to herself. She was mumbling to herself, and then she was barking at Pence. You know, she when he was talking about the USMCA, she said that's not true. I remember when that one guy during Obama's State of the Union said you lied. He was censured by the House of Representatives for inappropriate conduct during the State of the Union. And if you look at the way Nancy Pelosi behaved last night, she basically, it was like Mystery Science Theater 3000. She was mocking him during every moment of the State of the Union speech last night. And the previous caller that said she should be censured, there should be true discussion about that. The way she behaved was disrespectful to the office of president, to this country, and to everyone. It was outrageous.
She was like the conductor. Every time if she would stand up, all the Democrats would stand up. It was a plan, I think, planned out from the second.
Yeah.
Thing that I can understand. You don't want to stand up. You don't like our policies, and we probably do the same thing to them. But just fidgeting around like that and playing the board game, I don't think was proper.
Yeah. Now I'll say during the commercial break, someone made a comment about Rush, some liberal, that that he was making fun of Michael J. Fox's Parkinson's. That is not entirely true, and I know I saw some people on Twitter talking about this thing with Michael J. Fox and Rush, and that was back during a phase when I listened to Rush a lot. And what Rush Limbaugh was talking about in regards to Michael J. Fox's congressional testimony, I'm a big fan of Michael J. Fox. I grew up on Michael J. Fox, Family Ties, Back to the Future, Bright Lights, Big City, Teen Wolf. I grew up with Michael J. Fox, so I'm a big fan. But when he testified in front of Congress, he did not take his medications so that he would be symptomatic in front of Congress and on television. And the discussion at the time was, is that fraudulent to do that? I mean, because people think that's how he is all the time. And it was a true debate that Michael J. Fox responded to it. He said he wanted the people to see what he suffers through if he doesn't take his medication. I think that was a fair game discussion. He was not mocking him for his illness. He was questioning him not taking his medication for showman's sake during his televised. And he was a big movie star back then. He was an A-list actor when this happened. It's not like today where he's kind of, he's retired, but he was an A-list actor, and he went out there and didn't take his medications so that he was shaking all over the place. And I don't know if that was appropriate for him to do. I'm sorry.
I don't think that was proper, and if Rush mentioned it, there was just nothing wrong with that. And why are they bringing up a history of Rush?
Well, yeah.
I just can't see you be sympathetic to.
Yeah. All right, Conservative Doug, thanks for the call. All right, we're behind on our breaks. My apologies. If you're on hold, stand by. Back to the phones after the break. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show. Don't go anywhere.
Homeowners, this is Scott from Cut My Kilowatts. I'm here to cut your electric bill and save you a lot of money. Perhaps even eliminate your electric bill altogether. We do this by making your entire home energy efficient, by upgrading some or all
Poor
of the
losers,
following:
that's pretty funny.
roofs, doors, windows, insulating your attic, AC systems and ducts, hot water heaters, and even adding solar. Energy efficient improvements that actually pay for themselves over a short period of time. Our program is designed to make the savings on your electric bill pay for all or part part of your low monthly payments. The PACE program is government-sponsored and gives you up to 30 years to pay. Requires no credit check, no money down, no income verification, and no payments for up to 18 months. You only need to be current on your mortgage and taxes for the last 3 years to qualify. Energy savings and hurricane solutions made easy. Call 954-939-1500. 954-939-1500 to start saving money now.
If you suffer from excruciating back pain or sciatica, pay careful attention to what I'm about to tell you. According to a study in the medical journal Spine, back surgeries to alleviate back pain frequently backfire, leaving the patient in more pain than before they had the surgery. A second study from the University of Cincinnati College of Medicine provides clear evidence that 74% of surgeries for back pain fail. But there is an end to your suffering. There's a solution to your problem waiting for you with Dr. Troy Lemaski. Dr. Troy Lemaski is my personal chiropractor, and if the name sounds
that's a good idea, Jeff.
He's the brother of Dr. Janae Lemaski. Dr. Troy specializes in the elimination of back pain, sciatica, joint pain. He does it quickly, easily, and without surgery or pain medication. While he can help you with your back and neck pain, Dr. Troy also provides treatment for the hips, the shoulders, the knees. If you've been in a car accident, any type of injury, or slip and fall, the pain won't go away, well, if you want to get back to your old self, you want to call Dr. Troy. His number 954-463-3036. That's 954-463-3036. Online at drtroylemaski.com. Tell him that Steve Kane sent you.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for W.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Last night, a great night at Wings Plus on Sample Road. Been a lot of listeners to the program I've never met before. It was great, and I know some people came after I left. If I missed you, I'm sorry. I apologize. You know who was there, though, last night? A lot of people were there, including our anti-aging doctor, Dr. Mitch Matez. That's right. From the Boca Raton Center for Age Management. Dr. Matez has been a hormone replacement anti-aging physician here in South Florida. Well, I don't know, 15 plus years. He brought hormone replacement pellet therapy to South Florida back around 2005 or so. I'm a patient of his. I use hormone replacement pellet therapy. They're tiny little pellets under your skin, right there in your hip area. They'll restore your hormone levels to where they were when you were in your 20s. It'll increase your sex drive. Your sexual performance will be increased. Your overall energy level will double, if not even more so. I think mine have more than doubled, and it's all natural. Hormone replacement is an all-natural hormone that your body makes naturally, but as you age, makes less of it. So you're raising those levels to the normal levels of when you were young. That's why you have all these great benefits. If you want to look and feel like you did when you were in your 20s, call Dr. Mitch Matez. Talk to him about hormone replacement pellet therapy. It's a completely free consultation for Steve Kane listeners. And women, hormone replacement pellet therapy will reverse the signs and symptoms of menopause, the night sweats, the mood swings, vaginal dryness, all gone. Women, your sex drive will be restored as well. If you're suffering from hair loss, it will stop hair loss in its tracks in both men and women, and the hair you have left will grow back thicker and fuller. So what's good? Why have you not called him yet? You know, here I was at that, I went last night. I was up late with the State of the Union. I'm here with maybe 3 hours sleep. I'm approaching 2 hours on the air. I'm full of energy. Why? Hormone replacement pellet therapy with Dr. Mitch Matez. His website, hormonetherapybocaraton.com, but call his office, 561-953-5490. 561-953-5490. Dr. Mitch Matez. All right, Richie the bus driver, you're on the radio.
Yeah, so much to say, so little time to say it. Hey, Doug, by the way, was talking about the governor of Michigan, her rebuttal speech. Now, there's a very good-looking woman with no personality and nothing to say.
Yeah, I watched that, yeah.
Right away, okay.
Yeah.
We watched if you watch World Series, or if you watched like the Super Bowl, the losing team at the end sits there like in shock because they're crying because they worked so hard
for the whole year to get where they got, and then they fell short. That's Nancy Pelosi last night. They have tried everything for 3 years. She didn't think the president was legitimate. She hates his guts. She sits there, and they've done everything to upset him, including everything. Okay. Now the day before, look what happens in Iowa. Then she's got to sit there and his back to her, and then she's sitting there listening to all his accomplishments. By the way, happen to be everything that they're against. All of their policies in the garbage.
That's right.
In the last President Obama during his speech, comparing his administration to theirs.
Well, and I'll tell you, when she was back there talking to herself and mumbling to Pence, there were several times when it was picked up by the president's microphone, she was speaking very loud. And, you know, you remember during the State of the Union when that one Republican yelled, "You lied"? She did that for the she did it through the entire speech, and she did it loud enough for microphones to pick it up. So he had to deal with that.
Face was twisting. She was so infuriated with the whole thing. And when he didn't shake her hand, which I wouldn't have either after what she's put him through, he turned his back on her then, and he kept his back to her, and she couldn't stand it. And her announcement was, "The President of the United States, not my honor." That was a knock on him when he was walking in. I don't know if you know.
Of course. Of course. Now, Richie, did you tear up at all during that speech? Big tough guy?
I did when the soldier came home and the little girl that lived, and she was premature. As a matter of fact, the young. I mean, he completely tore their whole argument apart. He's putting this country back together. Their whole thing is he's a divider, and look what he did last night. He was bringing everybody in. Their policies are outrageous and radical.
Oh, yeah.
Being rejected by the American people, and today at 4 o'clock he will be exonerated, and at that point he's going to have a speech, he said. He's going to have something to...
Oh, my goodness. He's going to have a follow-up to the State of the Union. I hope he talks about Pelosi's behavior last night.
He has to look at it. I'm sure he's going to watch it today because he couldn't see. His back was to her. He couldn't see the contortion of the face and the rage. She generally lost it and hates his guts, and it was classless. I mean, no respect. Absolutely no respect. And I got to tell you something. For the first time, AOC wasn't there, but the other, Talib and everyone, they were looking down, doing the nails or whatever. They were blowing him off. Okay, all those people sitting with their hands on their lap, not clapping for America. Well, that's okay. That's okay because she actually did worse than they did. At least they respected to the point.
Yeah.
Do anything. She literally was on fire. She looked disgusting, man. I couldn't believe it.
Well, it was earlier. One of the callers earlier thinks that she's had an emotional breakdown, and she did look like someone who has had an emotional breakdown.
In the boxing ring, I'm bringing all these things out. Boxers are told no matter what happens, don't lose your temper. Because if you lose your temper, you're going to lose the fight because you lose.
That's true on the radio. You know, the handful of times when I feel I've looked bad on the air have been times when I've been angry. Because when you're angry, you're not in control of yourself. You know? Yeah.
She lost total control, and I don't think that was a planned thing with the. I think it was building up the whole night. I don't think that was planned that she ripped it up.
Yeah.
You asked what she was going to do, put it on fight. No, I think she wanted to actually throw it at him.
Oh yeah, yeah. Throw the papers at it.
Plate of food.
Yeah.
It was.
She made. My personal belief is. I mean, you know, you and I won't like anything Pelosi ever does, but that tearing up of the speech behind the president's back and then throwing it on the desk, I think it was a big mistake on her part. She just went a little too far with that one.
Well, I don't think she should be censored. I just want everybody to watch that. I'm sure the haters of Trump loved it, but I want the average decent American to see this is Antifa sitting behind the desk. When they don't get their way, look at how they act. Look at how they act. They make up crap, they lie, they do all this to get elected, and now all the policies were chopped down and destroyed last night.
Yeah.
one of them, and she doesn't know what to do about it.
Yeah.
What are they going to run on?
Well, I'll tell you, when, the Democrats who were, oh, no, it worked. It didn't, that Pete Buttigieg won. They stole it.
To do with that website also.
Yeah. Hillary and Mayor Pete. Yeah.
Guess what? Bernie's people won't show up if he doesn't get the nomination. And if he gets the nomination, he'll get destroyed.
Yeah, they're in a catch-22 over there. They've got no way out. All the Democrats who were outraged at Soleimani when President Trump showed the widow of the soldier killed by Soleimani with the son, and the widow was crying, and her 11, 12-year-old son put his hand on his mom's shoulder and said, "It's going to be okay, Mom." I mean, I was like, oh my goodness. Never seen anything like that.
Was saying I did the right thing,
Steve Kane Show.
and most Americans would think, you think you're revenge for that poor woman's.
Yeah.
But they didn't want him to kill them. They were praising him as a great leader.
That's right.
Thinking group of them. They are done. I think this is going to be McGovern landslide. It'll be nothing.
Well, this is an interesting thing. Those have those moments that you wish you could take back. The Democrats' behavior last night, every moment of the State of the Union, they did everything wrong. And I believe that they have done so much damage. I mean, they were refusing to stand for things that universally as Americans we support, and that's record number of employment, for example. They destroyed their hopes of maintaining the House, I would say, last night. I mean, really.
Get the Senate either. That brand is shot.
When you see, of course, Antifa, people like that might like that behavior, but rational people that are moderate, even rational Democrats, how can they approve of that behavior last night? Yeah. All right, Richie, I got to run for a break, but thanks for the call. Dr. Gupta over at Brighton Dental has 3 free offers for Steve Kane listeners. 1, a free second opinion. If you've been to a dentist who's told you that you need any type of dental procedure, large or small, a filling, no matter how, or a large root canal, whatever you've been told by a dentist that you need to have done, Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental is offering free second opinions. I've never even heard of second opinions in dental practices. Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental, for Steve Kane listeners, offers free second opinions. Maybe you need that procedure, but you know what? Maybe you don't. Find out. Call Dr. Gupta. He also has 2 other free offers for listeners of the Steve Kane Show. So you have to mention this when you call. For Steve Kane Show listeners, free exam and free x-rays. When you mention the Steve Kane Show. Free exams, free x-rays, and free second opinions if you need one. If you don't need the second opinion, that's okay. You still get the free exam and the free x-rays. But you've got to mention the Steve Kane Show. Give Dr. Gupta a call over at Brighton Dental, 954-922-4633. Dr. Gupta is a longtime listener of the Steve Kane Show. In fact, he's been listening way back since '83. So when you go and meet with Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental, you're going to meet with someone that you have a real bond to because he's a long-term listener of the Steve Kane Show. 954-922-4633. All right, third hour begins right now.
95.3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
Be right back, guys. Hey, listen, if you haven't already, subscribe. Be right back.
The great work and the incredible prices at Dr. Gupta's Brighton Dental. Richie, the bus driver, called Steve Kane on the air and told him about his experience at Brighton Dental.
Good morning. I have to talk about Brighton Dental because your sponsor is a miracle worker. I broke my tooth. I fractured it and went backwards in my mouth. Oh, my front top tooth. I put it back into the socket. It felt like it was falling out. I had pain. I couldn't even eat spaghetti. And I was going to a wedding in New York 2 days later. And I said, what am I going to do? The dentist here wanted to charge me $120 just to look at it and to tell me he couldn't do anything. I went to Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. I traveled 139 miles. I would do it again in a heartbeat. Each way. Okay? The man sat and worked on my tooth for 2 hours. Put a pin in it. Put it back in place. I could eat anything I want. He said it was temporary. He did such a great job. It feels like permanent. I have no pain. I can eat anything I want now. And the fact of the matter, this is what really was unbelievable. I was getting on the bus to go to the reception, okay, in New York City. He knew I was in New York. The phone rings. Who do you think's on the line?
Dr. Gupta.
Right. He wants to see if everything is going okay and if I'm in any pain. The guy is unbelievably wonderful. I mean, thank you so much. I wouldn't have been able to eat. I wouldn't have been able to go. I would have looked like a pumpkin.
Everybody needs a great dentist, and of course, for you Steve Kane listeners, you have one, Dr. Gupta, and he's been over there at Brighton Dental. He takes really good care of you. He's very conscientious. He's, dentistry is an art when you stop and you think about it. And Dr. Gupta certainly is an artist, and we're so pleased to have him with us.
Yeah, I just wanted them to know if you need a dentist, and the guy is so good at what he does, he's so gentle, and I mean, I don't like dentists. This guy is just top shelf, and I'm going down to him to get it permanently put in, but right now, I don't have any pain. I can eat anything I want. Incredible.
Take Richie the bus driver's advice and go see Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. Call 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633. Homeowners, would you like to save money each and every month? Of course you would. We all want to save more money. But how? By calling I Will Advisors, that's how, at 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080. And have their expert team review your homeowner's policy. I Will Advisors will review your policy at no charge. Most homeowners never review their policy, but it should be reviewed every year. You commercial property owners, same goes for your property insurance policy. So what are you waiting for? Call I Will Advisors and start saving money. 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080.
Steve Kane Show.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Avoid probate with a revocable living trust. $350 for single people, $450 for married couples. When you complete your trust with attorney Barry Siegel, he will give you a $100 gift certificate to Tavolino Italian Restaurant in Coral Springs. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices in South Florida, including downtown Fort Lauderdale, Coral Gables, and downtown Miami. 1-855-FLA-3782.
You are listening to South Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. Toll free.
That's right. That's the number. Go Kane 1. All right, third and final hour has begun. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. I'm not going to do any recapping. We've been talking for the past 2 hours about what is the greatest State of the Union ever in the history of the State of the Union. Everything that was done from beginning to end by this president and the disgraceful behavior of Nancy Pelosi in particular. Your thoughts on that are welcome. 1-888-GO-KANE-1. That's 888-465-2631. All right, let's go to the phones. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Good morning, Brian. Are we on the air?
Yes. Yes, you're on the radio.
Hi, this is Louis from Deerfield. Today, actually, I'm calling from over. I'm at the beach, and it's a little noisy here. I was wondering if you can hear me well.
Well, I can hear the wind a lot, but you've been holding for a long time, so we'll give it a go. So what's on your mind?
Yeah, I didn't see you last night at Wings Plus. I did see Steve as I was leaving. I enjoyed myself. It was good. You and the others have been talking about Nancy Pelosi and the other Democrats, all the disgraceful things and how they're losing their minds. Actually, there's a lot of Republicans too that have lost their minds. And we see this, I think, around the world.
I got to tell you, Louis, the wind down at the beach is just too hard on the phone, and so you can call back in a windless area, like walk back to your car and call back or something. But the wind is just too loud. I gotta let you run. Look, we have Greg 2 on the line. Many listeners were asking me, is Greg 2 here at Wings Plus last night? Greg, you're becoming a celebrity chronic. Steve Kane Show.
Inquiries. Maybe my anonymity is positive.
Yeah, and some of them were women who are not that bad looking either. Some women were asking for you. I don't know if they were single or not, but yeah.
So eventually we met briefly already once, but I lost.
Really? Wait. We met? When did we meet? I don't remember meeting you.
I told you I saw you. You had like that financial advisor that.
Oh yeah, Barbara Correo. Yeah. The train station in Boca. That's right. That's right. Yeah, I remember last week. Yeah.
You know, you were like, you were just wanted seemed to be alone. I'm not going to come up and bother you, but we met briefly.
Oh, yeah, I remember. You told me that last week. You called me on the air last week and told me. Yeah.
But I'll tell you, that speech last night was outstanding. I mean, I almost had tears, to be honest. Like you watched, I almost had tears listening.
I was tearing up throughout it. Yeah, I was. Yeah.
And Nancy Pelosi's behavior, did you see her shuffling those papers constantly behind him?
Yeah.
Like, what is she doing? And she should be admonished. She should be. I'll tell you right now. She knows she's about to lose her job as the Speaker of the House. She sees the writing on the wall. Trump was so great last night. I was so proud of him, and listing all the accomplishments about the economy. And if he sticks on message like that, we're going to crush whoever runs for president.
And agreed. Well, the thing about it, I was tearing up through the whole thing, and what I've been talking about all morning that made that so great and unique was that all of those things that he did during the State of the Union, Rush getting the medal, reuniting the military family, all those things are typically done with the people in the gallery prior to the State of the Union. And he did all of it except promoting the Tuskegee Airmen to general. And that might have been because the guy's 100 years old and it might be hard for him to stand up and get the stars put on him. But usually you'll see someone in the gallery with the Medal of Freedom. It's already been done. And he did these ceremonies and events live during the State of the Union. We've never seen that before. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing.
You know what? I'm a huge Ronald Reagan fan, but he outdid Ronald Reagan. And Ronald Reagan was an actor, a great communicator. He outperformed him last night.
Oh, that let me tell you, that State of the Union last night, what we saw last night was history being made. And we have most State of the Unions are forgotten. Frankly, I kind of forgotten the one last year. But this State of the Union 2020, is a historic State of the Union. And again, like I talk about with Trump, changing expectations of voters. Last night, he changed expectations of the American people when it comes to the State of the Union. What he did last night, was an unbelievable thing. And that each one of those people, when that little girl, he gave her that scholarship, and you saw the look and glow on her face and the face of her mother, and those Democrats standing on their hands when this little girl is going to get an opportunity that Pelosi's kids had, but she would never have had before. It was so telling. They're creeps, the Democrats.
Seriously, I had tears in my eyes several times, and that's the first time I've ever had tears in my eyes watching.
These Democrats don't know. I went to a garbage school. I went to Stranahan High School in Fort Lauderdale. Okay, it was filled with crack dealers who were only in school because they had to do it to stay on probation. It was, it was a very dangerous school. They didn't have the rating systems back then, but we had Cracker Slap Day when blacks and Hispanics just beat the crap out of white kids because they were white. And people don't know these Nancy Pelosi with the platinum spoon in her mouth and the mouths of her children don't understand what it's like to be trapped in a public school where you're not getting an education, and to have an opportunity. That girl's life will forever be changed. And what a symbolic moment, pointing out this young child who wants to join the Space Force, and coincidentally, his grandfather next to him is a Tuskegee Airman. I mean, it was amazing.
It was touching. And you know what? I mean, like you said, Donald Trump performed tremendously last night. But Nancy Pelosi, her behavior, man, I think she's losing it like Joe Biden. I think they're all in a tailspin right now because, they focused on this impeachment that's not going to be successful. His ratings are going up. He's going to win the presidency. Bernie Sanders is going to run against him, and he'll beat him easily. You know what I mean? They're all like in a tailspin.
Absolutely.
It's like a fait accompli to me. It was just he sealed his presidency last night.
When I saw that Tuskegee Airman that President Trump promoted to Brigadier General, was amazing. I mean, can you imagine what it was like for that man to go to college, earn a college degree, and go on to be a fighter pilot during the Democrat I mean, at the time that he became a officer in the U.S. Army Air Corps, the Air Force of the time, President Roosevelt was president, who would not sign into law federal anti-lynching legislation because the Democrats were doing all the lynching, and he thought it would cost him his re-election for the third time, you know? I mean, and that guy withstood that. You had a president, when he became a Tuskegee Airman, you had a president who supported lynching and lynchers. And he still, for that guy's accomplishments is beyond imagination. Trump was just amazing last night.
He was, and I agree. Listen, people don't realize the history of the Democrats. You recognize it, and you bring it to light.
As often as possible, as often as I can, yeah. They were this. Hey, listen, at the outbreak of the Civil War, when the Civil War broke out, there wasn't one Republican who owned a slave in the country. Every slave was owned by a Democrat.
I know, and you exposed that. You actually educated me on it, to be honest with that.
You got to tell everybody. It's our forgotten history. You know, and, well, anyway, appreciate the call. But, Greg, I got to tell you, I'm not kidding, a lot of people were asking about you, wanted to meet you. They were saying, is Greg 2 here? You know, and I said, no, he's not.
But if I could have come, I'd like to meet your listeners, like Richie the bus driver, meet you, like actually talk to you. I didn't talk to you the first time. But next time, your next event, I will be.
And what about the ladies that were asking for you? Do you want to talk to them too? The ladies that were asking for you, the women. There were women asking for you. And the women were not with men. So they look like maybe available. I don't know, but they were asking for you. All right, Greg. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. It is. Yes, he's excited. See, I'm not kidding. It's true. True. All right. Good morning. You are on the radio.
Hi, Brian. How are you? It's Dr. J.
Oh, Dr. Lemaski. Hey, Dr. Lemaski. We were talking about, someone suggested we talk to you because Nancy Pelosi looks like she had some type of emotional breakdown last night.
Yeah, I don't think
Steve
you
KANE
need
Show.
to be a psychologist to see that she was quite twisted over the president last night. What an amazing speech that was. He was actually the most eloquent, articulate, and, I mean, just so sensitive. I thought he did a spectacular job. And the sad part is, I don't even know, it's beyond even what you would say mental health. It appears that she's just so filled with rage and anger that there's no way that she's even able to rationally hear what's happening and what's going on because she has her own.
Well, that's frightening because she's third in line for the presidency. And for her to be in a position like that and be out of control mentally is not safe.
Well, I think that she and the rest of the party is really going to start really spiraling out of control, and they're just going to lose steam.
Yeah.
Going on too long. There's just so much that someone can do that until they literally have a breakdown.
What's that? What's that yelping in the background? So I was like, is that Nancy Pelosi back there? Yelping in the back? Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. Well, Dr. Lemaski, you were with us at Wings Plus last night. Thanks for coming.
All right, now, thank you.
All right, take care. All right, we'll take our break. Dr. Lemaski agrees that Nancy Pelosi looks as if she's had some type of emotional breakdown. All right, if you're on hold, don't go anywhere. We'll take our break and be right back after this.
Hi, Greg here. Conservative Doug called me live on the air to tell me about his experience at Friendly Tire.
I had two ball tires in the back of my Infiniti. So I called them up. I always check prices first. Half the price of everybody else.
Half the price? Half the price at Friendly Tire. Wow.
Half the price. And not only that, his tires, which nobody, the tires I was looking at, had any mileage guarantee. His is 60,000 mile warranty. So they're not only half the price, they're twice as good.
So you're a repeat customer over there at Friendly Tire. You bought new tires, right? So you bought new tires, because they also sell used tires, starting at just $30 for most sizes. But you bought new tires, and they were half the price at Friendly Tire than at the other tire shops around town. That is phenomenal, and came with a 60,000 mile warranty on the tires. That's great. And of course, Friendly Tire, they never charge you to mount the tire, balance the tire, or dispose of your old tires. The price that they give you are out the door and on the road. And
Greg, everybody should go there. I don't know how anybody could buy tires
anyplace else. This guy is the best prices.
That's right. That's right. Listen, give Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire a call. His number 954-977-9445.
Yeah, make sure you guys all subscribe. Is everyone subscribed to my channel on YouTube?
977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net, or you can just stop right in. The address is listed at stevekaneshow.com. 5415 Northwest 15th Street in Margate, and that's just a little north of Coconut Creek Parkway on the east side of 441.
If you're not subscribed, subscribe.
7. Well, Conservative Doug, thanks so much, and I'm glad you got such a great deal on your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate.
If you suffer with diabetes, did you know there's a 25%
Well, thank you, Pam.
chance that you will develop a foot ulcer at some point in your life? And foot ulcers,
Well,
when
thank you,
have
Jeffrey.
diabetes, can lead to severe health consequences, up to and including amputation.
Yeah, you know,
Now,
I was
Medicare
watching someone's live
recognizes
stream
the
yesterday that I'm a
importance
fan of,
preventative foot care
and I
and has
hate,
provided
if you guys have this problem, when somebody
most
starts a
people
live stream, they don't start, they just sit there for 5 minutes saying hello to everybody. And isn't that annoying? Especially if you go back to watch the live stream later. I kind of just go into, I'll say hi to one or two people, but
especially for diabetics.
do you guys think I'm sliding you when I don't do that? But I get kind of annoyed when everyone, how many live streams do that? They spend 5, sometimes even 10 minutes. Hello, hi, John, hi, Mary. Oh my goodness.
These are not the ugly.
Yeah, okay, I'm not alone.
These are name
Okay.
brand shoes.
I thought I might be
They're
alone on
stylish. They'll provide you with the extra width and extra depth to stop
Yeah, me
diabetic
too.
foot problems before they begin.
And when I start, I'll say hi to one or two people, but I kind of just jump right into
One
it.
of the preventable measures
Okay,
that's
good.
most effective is wearing the proper shoes. Call the Sole Authority at 954-597-7060.
It's like they don't want to start talking until they've got a big enough audience to start, you know.
TheSoleAuthority.com. That's
Yeah, I don't like that, Chuck.
TheSoleAuthority.com. Tell them Steve Kane.
Oh, great, Sarah.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WW.
All right, we are back. I'm Brian. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show. We're talking about everything State of the Union related. The phones have been on fire since 6 a.m., so I'm just going to go back to our busy phones. You guys hear me all the time, so let's hear what you guys think. You're on the radio. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Listen, that Rich is right.
Steve Kane Show.
I think what she wanted to do with that
Steve Kane Show.
is throw it at him. He completely pushed her buttons and ignoring her, and believe me, I feel so badly for her. I think he is really going through a breakdown of some sort, and you're 100% correct.
Yeah.
That crap nuts. You really.
Did you, now, like me, were you tearing up during the State of the Union?
Yeah, I was. I was more angry at some of these people when they showed that couple that lost a child that was tortured and raped.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
My daughter, and my daughter. Imagine that, and then they say, well, they're making him like a hero. Or
Steve Kane Show.
I mean, what are they going to make Bin Laden a hero? It's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
What's going to replace the Democratic Party? That's what I worry about. I mean, before at least we have the Democratic Party, within bounds. Just like when the Arab Spring, you didn't know what replaced these bad governments. What's going to replace the Democratic Party is through. I was a Democrat my whole life. New York City Democrat. Moved down here to Fort Lauderdale. Let me tell you something. I can't stand it anymore. I can't be a Democrat.
Yeah.
Being committed to the
Well, absolutely, and I mean, you look at when Trump showed the mother with her baby that was born at 5 months, and someone told me earlier that is the earliest pregnancy of a child that has survived. So that's amazing. And the Democrats sat on their hands and couldn't even celebrate that a human being survived an incredible event. Being born at 5 months has never happened before. And they were angry that that girl, I guess, survived and is alive today. It was bizarre.
The stuff they're going for is so out of control. And that thing with Bernie not getting in, that's another sham, too. And Buttigieg, the communists, his parents, his father was, and I mean, socialism. But, I think the schools are pushing this stuff because I had a college kid attack my...
Yeah.
No, we should have schools like China. I said, China, they're literally eating bat soup and human feces. I mean, I'm not anti all. But, I mean, you think we should be like them? They're getting that from school. They want to make us like we're the, they don't want to celebrate our success.
That's right. All right. Hey, listen, I appreciate the call. Thanks so much. All right. Take care. Take care. Oh, well, thank you.
Loves it.
Well, you have, I must say this, you have incredible taste for talk radio. You know, I learned last night, I haven't gotten into this today, I'll try to bring it up in a bit, but I learned last night from one of our listeners that there's been a major change in local talk radio, not for the good, here in the South Florida radio market. And I'll try to mention it today. If I don't today, I will get into it in detail tomorrow. John in Wellington, you're on the radio. Good morning.
Good morning, Brian. All of your listeners have incredible taste in talk radio. Didn't you know that?
Well, a lot of them don't know that they do. A lot of them hate us. They hate us, you know. Yeah.
Right. The thing I wanted to mention was regarding the House Madam's temper tantrum. I'm wondering if she just isn't upset with herself for going along with the far, far left. She was putting off this for a long time, and she finally gave in.
Yeah, I mean, you saw her talking to herself. Then. Yeah. I'm not going to say I've never talked to myself, but I've maybe in the car alone or something, you know, not on television live. But, you know, the thing with Pelosi last night, I'm not exactly sure what has caused her emotional breakdown entirely. I don't know. It's more than just Trump derangement syndrome. There's just something, you know, if the Democrats lose, for her to go out a loser without retiring, that's how she'll always be remembered, as the woman who lost the House of Representatives. To be the speaker and end your career as a loser, that's a pretty tough that's a pretty tough thing. You know, George Bush, the father, Bush 41, I heard him talking once in an interview about what it was like when he lost to Bill Clinton. And he said it's incredibly difficult because you've been rejected by the entire country. That's how you and Nancy Pelosi is about to face that. At least she fears it. I think last night they really firmed up the Republican victory chances in the House.
Did she say that she would resign if President Trump was acquitted, or is that something that...
No, I never heard that. If she said it, I missed it. I don't recall hearing that. Well, I wish that she did, because she'd be resigning today about 4:01 in the afternoon. That'd be great. All right. But before you go, do you think she planned out the tearing up thing, or did she just do it without thinking?
Just had a little temper tantrum and being a leftist, she can't...
Yeah, all right. Appreciate your call, John in Wellington. You know what I think happened with Nancy Pelosi? You're right. I'm starting to think, most of our callers believe that it was an emotional breakdown at the end. Nancy Pelosi is a woman at her age who has gone through menopause. And part of this emotional breakdown that you were seeing is that her hormone levels are out of balance. This is the signs and symptoms of menopause, the mood swings, the night sweats. We talk about these things. Nancy Pelosi needs to call, I'm not kidding, she needs to call Dr. Mitch Matez and talk to Dr. Matez about a hormone replacement pellet therapy. You know, even at her advanced age, hormone replacement pellet therapy reverses the signs and symptoms of menopause by restoring the hormones that our body naturally makes to their levels when you're much younger. And the out-of-control emotions, the mood swings, reverse, gone, boom, with hormone replacement pellet therapy. And Dr. Mitch Matez certainly could help Nancy Pelosi. And you know what? If you are also dealing with menopause, regardless of your age, you could be as old as Nancy Pelosi or just be approaching or in the early phases of menopause, ladies, call Dr. Mitch Matez. The mood swings gone, night sweats gone, loss of sex drive gone. You'll have your sex drive back. Your ability to have sex because of vaginal dryness gone, ladies. All of the signs and symptoms of menopause totally reversed and gone. Call Dr. Mitch Matez. It's a free consultation for listeners of the Steve Kane Show. 561-953-5490. 561-953-5490. Online, hormone therapy, BocaRaton.com. Hey, we got a lot of sponsors that can help Nancy Pelosi, right? Dr. Matez with hormone replacement. A lot of that is menopause. I know some people will say that's sexist. No, it's not sexist. It's true. It's true. What an embarrassment that was last night. Listen, let's finish up our break for the bottom of the hour. When we come back, there is more to talk about, much more to share. And I haven't even gotten any of my audio sound bites, really, that I wanted to play today. I don't have any clips of the president because I figured you've heard that. You're hearing it a lot. I got some clips of some of the reaction to it I may get into. And there was a major development that I just learned about last night at Wings Plus from a listener that is a very sad one for the local South Florida talk radio market. I'd like to get into that a little bit too. All right, I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show. Don't go anywhere.
Suffer from excruciating back pain or sciatica, pay careful attention to what I'm about to tell you. According to a study in the medical journal Spine, back surgeries to alleviate back pain frequently backfire, leaving the patient in more pain than before they had the surgery. A second study from the University of Cincinnati College of Medicine provides clear evidence that 74% of surgeries for back pain fail. But there is an end to your suffering. There's a solution to your problem waiting for you with Dr. Troy Lemaski. Dr. Troy Lemaski is my personal chiropractor, and if the name sounds familiar, it should. He's the brother of Dr. Janae Lemaski. Dr. Troy specializes in the elimination of back pain, sciatica, joint pain. He does it quickly, easily, and without surgery or pain medication.
Steve Kane Show.
While he can help you with your back and neck pain, Dr. Troy also provides treatment for the hips, the shoulders, the knees. If you've been in a car accident, any type of injury or slip and fall, the pain won't go away. Well, if you want to get back to your old self, you want to call Dr. Troy. His number 954-463-3036. That's 954-463-3036. Online at drtroylemaski.com. Tell him that Steve Kane sent you.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Avoid probate with a revocable living trust. $350 for single people, $450 for married couples. When you complete your trust with attorney Barry Siegel, he will give you a $100 gift certificate to Tavolino Italian Restaurant in Coral Springs. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices in South Florida, including downtown Fort Lauderdale, Coral Gables, and downtown Miami. 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for...
All righty. Welcome back. I'm Brian Craig. It's time to check in with Janet Cimarelli over at Save-A-Lot. And I got one opening on the board. So our board's mostly full, and I've forgotten which line Janet Cimarelli is on. So I'm going to hit one at random that I think might be her. But if it's not, I'll just have to try it till I find her. Good morning. Is this Janet? Oh, good. Well, I've got every line but one is lit up on the board. The phones have been very busy today, and I thought you're on line 2. So I thought maybe she's on line 2, but I'm not sure. But I got lucky. Well, Janet, so what's going on in the world of natural health today?
Okay, so the health news from Janet at Save-A-Lot that your listeners can use. Okay, a lot of people walking around in pain. They have maybe ankle, knee, shoulder, so much hip pain, so much back pain. And then all of those people out there who have arthritis in their hands, and their hands just are so stiff and painful. So at Save-A-Lot, we have Rheuma Art, and Rheuma Art is incredible with pain relief, really top shelf pain relief. Rheuma Art, when you look at the ingredients, you think, hey, that can't possibly do anything for my pain. But trust me, having been the recipient of its pain-relieving properties, Rheuma Art does the job. So if you're in pain anywhere in your body, what I would tell you to do is with the Rheuma Art, start with 2 in the morning and 2 in the evening. The label says 2 a day, but if you want to get a quick handle on your pain, start 2 in the morning, 2 in the evening, and then after a week of 2 and 2, then you can go back to 1 and 1. Some people do just fine after that loading dose of just 1 a day. So if you're in pain, Rheuma Art's the way to go. You can add curcumin, Solgar or Kyolic curcumin, fabulous anti-inflammatory product, and then top it all off with Wiley's Peak EPA. It's an omega fish oil that is specifically focused on the anti-inflammatory effects. Brian?
All right. Well, listen, give Janet a call over at Save-A-Lot, 754-307-1655. 754-307-1655. Save-A-Lot is located in the city of Margate, just immediately south of Sample Road on the west side of State Road 7, 441 in that Penn Dutch Plaza. All right, Janet, we will talk tomorrow. All right. All right, take care. Yeah, these phones are pretty busy, so let me go back to the phones. You are on the radio. Good morning.
Hello.
Yes.
This is Bob from Boynton.
Hey, all right, Boynton Beach. What's up?
Agree with you on just about everything, except Nancy Pelosi did not put her hand out, and Trump did not offer to shake the hand of Mike Pence either. So that's the only thing I can differ with you.
Well, it looked like she put her hand out to me, but, but that's okay. I mean, I know it's our... The microphone. What do you think about her? What do you think about her disgusting behavior throughout? Because what I'm thinking about is that one guy that yelled, "You lied" to Obama, and they censured him. He had to apologize. He was censured. And Nancy Pelosi did that through the entire State of the Union last night.
I understand that. That's the only point I'm disagreeing on. Is that
okay? Well, I guess he can only talk about that one point. Okay, I disagree, and you disagree, and that's not very interesting. Let me get to some of the audio, though. MSNBC talking about Rush Limbaugh receiving the highest honor that an American civilian can receive, that Medal of Freedom. This is MSNBC last night.
I think that the part of the speech that you should be concentrating on is probably when he gave that Presidential Medal of Freedom to Rush Limbaugh, because I think in that moment it encapsulated both the cultural issues and the issues of President Trump kind of turning this into a reality TV show. So it was a made-for-TV moment. Rush Limbaugh was acting like he was surprised, when of course Rush Limbaugh was the main person, or one of the main voices, who was saying that Barack Obama wasn't born in this country.
The birth certificate question was first brought up by Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign. It was Democrats. Hillary Clinton's campaign are the ones that brought up the birth certificate first. It wasn't Republicans or Rush or anyone on the right. It was Hillary Clinton's campaign brought that up. They're the ones that started the whole so-called conspiracy theory, as we call it. It was Clinton's campaign that did that. And I think most people have forgotten. In fact, the guy that did it, I've forgotten his name. We had him on the show right after it happened. I can't remember his name. Anybody remember the guy? My recollection is it was from Hillary's campaign in Pennsylvania, is my recollection. So he is not the originator of that. Hillary Clinton is. So MSNBC, they Rush Limbaugh is a racist for discussing the birth certificate issue of Obama. What is Mrs. Clinton and her campaign, who are the originators of the story and the rumor and the conspiracy? This is Van Jones gave some analysis on CNN. I like Van Jones's analysis. He's liberal, don't get me wrong, and I'm not saying I like him personally, but Van Jones gives very good analysis. Van Jones at the State of the Union giving his analysis of everything that happened during the State of the Union.
Few early words.
I think the last 24 hours have been a big wake-up call for Democrats. That's what I think. The Iowa caucus was a debacle, and this was a very strong speech, and it shows what he thinks he needs to do to win. I think that's very clinical about that. I think you're exactly right. He knows he's going to give a lot of red meat to his base, and he gave it. Religious liberty, abortion, all of it, the military. But he's doing something else, and it has to do with how he's going to manage race in this thing. And there seems to be a trade-off between the Latinos and the African Americans. That's what you see. He went hard on the sanctuary city stuff. Mm-hmm. That is very, very disturbing. It turns out sanctuary cities are actually safer than non-sanctuary cities, like Cato Institute.
Okay, and it goes on. Okay, couple things here. Sanctuary cities are safer. Every undocumented immigrant is a criminal because they're here illegally. So that, you know, they say that they have lower crime rates, but don't count the crime of actually being here illegally. So they have a 100% crime rate. Okay. But this goes back, see, the Democrats are in such huge trouble because President Trump has done so much for African Americans. But, even though, you know, he's going after the Latinos. Why are they defending the Latinos? He's pointing this out. Why? It's because that's a very important voting bloc of theirs. The Democrats depend on the Hispanic vote to get elected. Let's see what else Van Jones has to say. By the way, the illegal Hispanic vote, which tells you right now the vote fraud operation is going on hard over there.
Has come out that you know, immigrants are committing less crime. So for some reason, he thinks that doubling down piece, the big part of the thing.
Can't do anything to it while I'm on the air.
Warning the Democrats.
It's a little blurry, but
what he was saying to African Americans.
The audio's fine, so.
You may not like it, but he mentioned HBCUs. Our black colleges have been struggling for a long time. A bunch of them have gone under. He threw a lifeline to in real life in his budget.
Is that amazing? He bet the black. By the way, do we even have black colleges anymore? Do we really need racially segregated schools anymore with black colleges? This is just, you could hear in Van Jones sounds so defeated here, doesn't he? Just defeated.
Talked about the criminal justice reform. He talked about opportunity zones. This school choice. He talked about school choice. Listen, wake up.
He doesn't have to be effective. He has to be effective. You move margins at key states.
And the thing about it is, and I think that we wake
up. Oh, they're depressed on CNN.
It goes on. We say, well, he said S-hole nations, therefore all black people are going to hate him forever. That ain't necessarily so. And I think what you're going to see him do is say, you may not like my rhetoric, but look at my results, look at my record to black people. If he narrowcasts that, it's going to be effective. Which means, as we move through this primary, we've got to pay a lot more attention. Both what's going on with the Latino vote is we're going to get the benefit in terms of having them respond, and with the black vote, is there going to be
Jimmy Carter's niece,
especially for black male vote, warning to us, a warning to Democrats that he's going to black folks to cause us problems.
Wow, this is I was telling you yesterday about Jones. Van Jones is a liberal Democrat, but when he gives his political analysis to things on CNN's panels, I think it's very good. And what Vance is trying to do, he's warning Democrats that we're losing the black vote to Trump because of all of these accomplishments, the sentencing reform, getting all the thing, you know, everything that's going on. I don't have to go through the list. And Van Jones deny great. I think he is. Now this is Ted Cruz.
Reform getting worse and worse and worse at State of the Union addresses, but this is the worst I've ever seen. They wouldn't applaud for record low African American unemployment. They wouldn't applaud for record low Hispanic unemployment. They wouldn't applaud for women. They wouldn't applaud for 12,000 new factories in the United States and a blue collar boom. And I'll tell you the moment that I actually thought was the saddest and most revealing, early in the speech at least. When the president talked about 7 million people coming off of food stamps, there were congressional Democrats who hissed, who audibly hissed. Now think about what that reveals, that they are rooting for Americans in poverty to be trapped in dependence. That's 7 million people that have gotten jobs, providing for their kids, the single moms that have the pride.
The audio seems okay. I can't worry about the picture right now. I gotta finish the show.
And it culminated in the moment at the end when Nancy Pelosi ripped that speech. It was disgraceful. It was disgusting. I was sitting 50 feet away from her, and it made me angry because what she showed and what congressional Democrats showed was contempt for America. They won't root for the American people. They won't even the barest modicum of respect for the President of the United States.
Yeah, that's good. So Lion Ted was telling some truth last night. Oh, man. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Good morning, Brian.
Yes. Who's this?
This is Al Rogers.
Oh, Al the John. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm quoting recording this call about the special caucus events that happened on Monday that still don't have the election results 2 days later. I still have your card here on, and so I'm also waiting to see that next episode. And
I mean, John is so shell-shocked after this incredible State of the Union last night that he's incoherent.
Well, right now I'm trying to hold.
No, it's just the Wi-Fi.
And speak to you at the same time. So it's just a little.
What do you mean? You're on YouTube now? What are you filming yourself as you're speaking to me? Why?
I'm notifying other Progressive Communication Network people that we're having a broadcast at 1 o'clock here at Panera Bread on 19th Street in Washington, D.C. later today.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Pelosi.
What are your thoughts on the entire Democrat Party in the House last night, State of the Union, sitting on their hands when Trump showed us a child who was born at 5 months, who survived, and the Democrats wouldn't celebrate her medical victory? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, because he tied it into the abortion issue, that he wanted the trimester abortion.
Well, see, children now in the 5th month are viable outside the womb. So if a child is viable outside of the womb, they shouldn't be aborted, Al. Oh, so you're not in favor of that child being born? If that woman last night that was holding her baby would have had an abortion, the Democrats would have been cheering her.
I said, I've told you this before. In the trimester number 3, I'm not in favor of an abortion.
Well, this is I got to take the 3rd break of this hour. Okay, so anyway, we've got to run. Thanks, Al. Al, shell-shocked, incoherent, not doing very well. We'll be right back. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show.
Homeowners, this is Scott from Cut My Kilowatts. I'm here to cut your electric bill and save you a lot of money. Perhaps even eliminate your electric bill altogether. We do this by making your entire home energy efficient, by upgrading some or all of the following: roofs, doors, windows, insulating your attic.
See, everything's
AC
back, just a little bad connection.
Ducts, hot water
Wireless
heaters,
connections
and
are not, all that
energy
reliable.
efficient improvements that actually pay for themselves over a short period of time. Our program is designed to make the savings on your electric bill pay for all
That's
part of your
true.
low
Goes by
monthly
fast for
payments.
me, too.
Base program is government sponsored and gives you up to 30 years to pay. Requires no credit check, no money down, no income verification, and no payments for up to 18 months. You only need to be
The
current
commercials
on
are the
your
most
mortgage
important
and
part.
taxes
That's,
for the last 3
what
years
keeps
to
us on the
qualify.
air.
Energy savings and hurricane solutions made easy. Call 954-939-1500. 954-939-1500 to start saving money now.
Stop paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy
Steve
your
Kane
tires
Show.
at Friendly Tire in Margate, where they have all
Steve
the
Kane
major
Show.
brands like Goodyear and Firestone at discount prices that absolutely can't be beaten. Steve Kane's tires for his Toyota van at the other shops, $175 a tire. Tire, just $75 a tire. That's a $100 savings per
Well, check out my
tire.
podcast. That's the 4th hour.
Car,
Hey there.
$145 at the shops around town. The price at Friendly Tire, only $65. That's a $70 savings per tire. These prices are out the door and on the road. Free mounting and balancing and no added charges. Friendly Tire have a great selection of good used tires too, starting at just $30 for most cars. Call my good buddy Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire. Tell him what you drive and he will give you a great low price right over the phone at 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net.
Steve Kane Show.
President Trump here. Join Steve
No,
Kane
we're
and
done.
Brian Craig on the Steve Kane Trump 2020 Victory Cruise on board the Celebrity Edge. The cruise will be to celebrate my re-election. Don't be a loser, be a winner, just like me. And join Steve Kane and Brian Craig on the Steve Kane Trump 2020 Victory Cruise.
Thank you, Mr. President. Join Steve Kane and me, Brian Craig, celebrating the victory of President Trump as we say sail December 6th
Steve Kane
at
Show.
Fort Lauderdale on a 7-day Trump 2020 victory
Because I hung
First
up on
stop,
you.
San Juan, Puerto Rico. Second stop, Tortola, British
Oh my
Virgin
gosh.
Islands, and then St. Martin. Call in at Cruise and Travel Depot, 561-244-5779, 561-244-5779, and join us celebrating the re-election of President Trump, 561-244-5779.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWE.
All right, welcome back. It's time for the Gold Report with William Youngerman. William Youngerman, good morning.
Good morning, Brian. How you doing?
I'm great. How are the metals today?
Great, actually. Doing better than the last 2 days. Last 2 days we saw gold discounted by $36, dropping $23.80 yesterday to $1552.70, hitting down by the major support area of around $1,550, giving all of us a great buying opportunity. The silver dropped 10 cents yesterday, closing at $17.55 the ounce. Platinum was down $5 at $962. But palladium closed up $103 at $2,318 an ounce. This morning we see a little bit of a comeback on gold. Gold up $1.60 right now at $1,554.30 the ounce. Silver up 6 cents at $17.60 the ounce, while platinum is up $11 at $973, and palladium is up another $22 at $2,340 the ounce.
Wow.
Support levels, support for silver around $17.50. Support for gold solid around $1,550. So great buying opportunity again. The dollar is still showing a lot of strength. The U.S. stock market and the markets of the world have come back strong after that big slump a couple days ago. Now we've seen a big resurgence of money going back into the stock market with the Dow doing very well again.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, we had our appearance at Wings Plus last night. I met a few people who were telling me how happy they are that they found you, William Youngerman, and they're very, very happy. Listen, give William Youngerman a call, 1-800-327-5010, online, williamyoungerman.com, and, of course, located in Boca Raton, immediately east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. And with Valentine's Day around the corner, stop in and take a look at the great collection of jewelry and watches that they have that make great Valentine's gifts. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk tomorrow. All right, take care. Al, Liberal Al, you called me during the break. You said you got disconnected, and I told that's because I hung up on you. You didn't really have much to say today. I mean, I know you say you're filming yourself calling me, and you're trying to use me and your call to the show for something, but you seem really out of it after this spectacular State of the Union. Not much to contribute.
I'm not out of it. Bill Barr, Attorney General Bill Barr, is in court trying to overturn the ACA. So Trump lied when he said he wanted to protect the healthcare issue, senior citizens, and
Affordable Care Act isn't for senior citizens. That's Medicare. Affordable Care Act is for people that are not eligible for Medicare. Give me a break. ACA. They don't. It's just like they don't want to call it Obamacare. ACA. Oh my goodness. I learned last night at Wings Plus from a listener something I did not know, and I don't know how long ago this happened. But there's been a big change in South Florida Talk Radio, and it's not one that is a good one. And it involves Joyce Kaufman and 850 WFTL. They have our old call letters. Those great call letters, WFTL. They're trying to pass what they're doing up there off as that, I guess. But I was very shocked that Joyce Kaufman's radio show has been cut back to from 3 hours to 1 hour a day. They've brought in some syndicated programming, including Ben Shapiro, who I think Ben Shapiro is awful. Barsky's gone. I was not a fan of Barsky. I was talking to someone about this last night. Barsky, I never have given Barsky a fair chance, and that's because I'm such a huge fan of Ron Hersey. Ron Hersey is a South Florida radio legend. He's up there with Steve Kane, Neil Rogers, Sonny Fox. Ron Hersey is a legend in the South Florida radio market, and he was made to be the sidekick who just had to sit there and laugh at Barsky, and I think that annoyed me a lot. So I don't know if Barsky was good or bad. I didn't really care for Barsky, but it might just be that I was upset about Ron Hersey and the role they put him in there. But they made some changes, and Joyce Kaufman's show has been cut back to 1 hour a day. Why they have her on for 1 hour, I don't know. I mean, she's still doing the show, but that's, come on, you know. And they got Ben Shapiro on over there now. That's just terrible. And I know a lot of people think that, you know, Joyce and I have had kind of like a feud or a rivalry over the years. And Joyce Kaufman and I have had our moments. And, you know, but that's so long ago. I'm over all that. I don't care. You know, I don't hold grudges. And so I got no animosity towards Joyce Kaufman at all. I don't think she's that great of a host. I think she's a mediocre on-air talent that really should be more in the role of a sidekick than the lead. But I still respect her and what she's done. She's been on the air for a long, long time, and I love local talk radio. And they plugged in some other syndicated stuff over there. I don't know. It's not right to put. They got rid of the great Rich Stevens, who's one of the nicest people you will ever meet in broadcasting, and a very talented guy. He's top talent. But putting Joyce Kaufman back to 1 hour a day is, it's really kind of humiliating for her to have to do that. But that's what they've done. And I don't know how long ago that happened. It tells you how little I pay attention to it. I don't know if that happened at the beginning of the year or if it happened this week. I don't know. But I don't think that's a good thing. Not that I was a listener, but I like that she was doing the 3 hours a day. And that's a sad thing to report. All right, let's go back to the phone. Screenless here, so that's Risk. Good morning. Oh. Well, you can't correct Al because your cell phone cut out. So anyway, hey, listen. Just sad news about Joyce Kaufman. Still on the air. She's still on the air, but just 1 hour a day. A big loss for talk radio here in the South Florida market. The other thing today at 4 is the acquittal of President Trump. And President Trump will be speaking, we're told, after the acquittal. So he's going to have a follow-up to his superstar State of the Union yesterday. And I hope it turns into a press conference. Let's see. Is this Richie back with a better cell? Hello? Once, twice. Oh, yeah, there we go. See, that's why you shouldn't go screenless, even though I do. That's why most people don't go screenless. Hey, listen, we are all out of time for today. We'll be back bright and early tomorrow at 6 a.m. Everyone that called and participated today, thanks for your participation. Thank you all for listening. My name is Brian Craig. This is Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. We'll see you tomorrow bright and early at 6 a.m. Take care, everyone.
5.3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
If you suffer with diabetes,
all right, guys, take care. I will see you later.
Foot ulcer that can lead to